Welcome in to a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show live here, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. We wanted to jump in early because Ben Mintz is making his way back to New York City. We'll welcome you in, but let's get to Ben Mintz, who is changing planes right now. I believe he's in Atlanta, heading back to New York. Benjamin, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for fitting me in on the Jordy Culotta Show, actually in Fort Lauderdale.
Took
the old cheap Spirit Air.
Yeah, you're going all over the country. You can go to Toronto, Canada next, and then back across, right?
The taxi of the sky, bro. The taxi of the sky.
Well, on my way back. Great, man. What a just unbelievable weekend in Oxford. I mean, that's the best Oxford weekend since Bama 2014, and I thought it was top 3 to top 5 I've ever had.
Yeah, I'll beat our ass.
The game was never close.
No, it was close. First possession.
Take me to it. I mean, take me around the energy. Manning in the end zone. Arch was there this weekend. What was the energy like in Oxford?
Man, it was honestly so big part of when I got hired at Barstool. You know, there was so much fan apathy at Ole Miss in the 2017 through 2019, the Matt Luke era. When you look at the NCAA sanctions and then COVID in 2020, and one of my main goals is to help, bring the pride back. And I certainly didn't play near the role Eli Manning or Lane Kiffin or Matt Corral did, but Oxford was just bursting at the seams. I mean, you could feel it on Friday on the square. The Grove was packed. The halftime ceremony was phenomenal for Eli. You could really feel his gratitude for Ole Miss. And it was just, let's be real. Ole Miss isn't known for having one of the rowdiest fan bases in the SEC. You never hear the Vaught mentioned when you talk about Tiger Stadium or, the Swamp or all the great, you hear about the Grove, but you don't hear about the stadium. And it was rocking Saturday. And there weren't many LSU fans, obviously, because the season they're having. And Ole Miss sold it out. And, man, people stayed till probably 4 or 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And I hadn't seen that stadium rock like that in a long time. And, that was just really, really warmed my heart. As far as the game goes, LSU was up 7-0, and then a couple of the key plays were the fourth and goal at the 3 where Ole Miss stopped them. And then really when Ole Miss was up 17-7 and went for it on 4th and 3 or 4 on the LSU 13, and Matt Corral barely got it with his legs, and Ole Miss scored to go up 24-7. I mean, that was pretty much the end of the game, it felt like. And, man, it was just a huge, huge party. It was the first Ole Miss win over LSU since 2015 at the end of the Les Miles era. And, it was just a phenomenal weekend all the way around. So glad I made it for sure. And I'm sure more LSU fans talking more about Lane Kiffin after that one. I'm more than sure.
Mincy 6-0 this weekend on the picks. It all made sense for you to be at the Grove this weekend. Did you see Arch?
I did not see Arch. He was certainly there. They flew him up Friday after his high school game. They're keeping everything really, really tight-lipped on everything. I don't know any more than most. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't feel the best about it, to be honest, but we'll see. I don't really know any more than most, though. I'm just speculating. But I know he was around, and look, he saw the best that's the best Ole Miss has to offer as far as pack, Grove, Square, everything. The Ole Miss marketing did great. I mean, everything was first class. All the old Ole Miss football player alumni were back for this one. I mean, we certainly rolled out the red carpet for Arch. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you don't feel good about it, and I didn't really know how I felt. I think I feel better for y'all now. After this, I don't know if they're telling your flight's delayed.
Delayed. It's gonna have to live in
not
Fort
good.
Lauderdale.
I'm just joking. No, I don't know. I don't know if that game had anything to do with it, but do you think he's tied to? We talk about Kiffin and the job. I don't know if he's gonna get the LSU job anymore, but if he stays there, do you think that? Obviously going play for Lane Kiffin as a freshman and being the guy, he can do what Matt Corral does times 10 probably.
Oh, I don't know if you can just say he can do it. Corral's leading for the Heisman Trophy. I know,
but yeah, I guess you're right. You can't go. There's a lot of, but you know what I mean. He's super talented guy. You're gonna have a 5-star freshman that comes in that's gonna be with a genius offensive line.
Talk of the town.
Yeah.
I certainly hope so. And Ole Miss is when you really look at this Kiffin thing, this Ole Miss program hadn't had a winning season since 2015, and they're 6-1 and top 10 in the country. I mean, this is just, I don't think you can say enough about what Lane Kiffin and Matt Corral have done here. I mean, and also on the defensive side, the transfer portal is such a new great equalizer. I mean, you look at Jake Springer and Chance Campbell, linebacker, and Otis Reese. I mean, you've got three just awesome transfers that shored up that defense. And, you know, the defense played really good against Tennessee and LSU. And, you know, really stopped the LSU running game after Davis Price had the 287 yards against Florida. I believe LSU had 67 yards rushing in that game. And, you know, you look at Ole Miss now, you're heading to Auburn this week. God, this is going to be such a tough game this week, guys. I mean, Auburn's coming off a bye. 6 o'clock Saturday night home game. Ole Miss is beat up. I believe the line's about picket right now. This is going to be one I'm cheering hard for the Raps, but I'm having a hard time putting money on them.
LSU, your first chance to see them up close this season. How bad do they look? How disconnected do they look right now?
Well, it was bad. I mean, there's no getting around it. You can't. I mean, what do they have, like 55 guys out there dressing out? I mean, it's crazy how many guys are hurting. Just no one's felt the loss more than Butte. I mean, what Butte did to Ole Miss in that 310-yard game in the rain, there's just not any it's so weird to see LSU and see no explosive playmakers on offense. They don't have any right now, which is something I can't remember for a long, long time. And we'll see. You know, I know I think there's nowhere to go but up from here, though. And I think the thing is with LSU is it's not a long rebuild. There's still a lot of talent. Just tons of people hurt.
Are you concerned with Lane Kiffin maybe coaching himself away from Ole Miss with this continued success? As you said, 6-1, top 10 in the country. He's going to get some looks other places, and the word around Oxford, I'd imagine you know better than most. Are you nervous about him maybe island hopping because Lane's not one to stay one place?
Well, I mean, look, even if he does, I mean, I'm trying not to spend too much time worrying about it, but even if he does, that's the price you got to pay. You know, Ole Miss, you know, he rebuilt a program that was struggling for so long. And, of course, people are going to come after him when you're 6-1 and top 10 in the country. That's just part of the deal. And I think as an Ole Miss fan, instead of spending time worrying about it, I'm just trying to stay in the moment and enjoy the success because it's been so long.
Mincy, positive vibes. Yeah. Must have been a hell of a weekend at Oxford. Must have been a great weekend. Have a great flight back to New York City. Thank you for a couple of minutes this morning. Safe travels, buddy.
Yeah, New Orleans Friday, boys.
Absolutely. Nola Ween, I hear it in your voice, buddy.
It sounds like he's whispering. He's got a secret.
I hear it in your voice. Tom Granning says hello, and thank you for the picture in the Grove. Safe travels.
Yeah, thank you. I think a bunch of people just want to kill me while getting on this plane right now.
Later, buddy. There's Ben Mintz checking in.
Starting to whisper.
There he was. All right. We love Arch Manning. That was Ben Mintz checking in from a Fort Lauderdale runway as he's making his way back to New York City. He was in Oxford over the weekend. Man, that was embarrassing. We will talk a little bit about that at some point. We're going to talk to Will Wade at 8:30 this morning. Coach Wade and the LSU basketball team played an exhibition over the weekend down at Nichols with all of that relief, all of that proceeds going to the relief of the Hurricane Ida Fund down there for the people in southwest Louisiana or southeast Louisiana. We will talk to Coach Wade what he learned about his team. He was out a lot of guys, played with a lot of his frontline guys were down. So you got a really good look at the depth of LSU basketball on Saturday. We'll ask him about the impact, obviously, about Adam Miller being out here for the first week that he's been down. So Coach Wade coming up here at 8:30 this morning. Obviously, we'll get to that. The World Series is set. The Dodgers are bounced by the Braves over the weekend, which sets up a Houston. A Houston and Atlanta championship, and then tonight the Saints play. But let's get to that. What did you think of the World Series now that it's set?
I like it. I mean, like I said, I thought the Dodgers had to win. I mean, I thought the Braves had to win that game. If they lost it, I thought the Dodgers were going to take that series. Both teams are hot. I mean, they are. I mean, they have. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit last week, but the moves that the Braves made at the All-Star break, I think people were looking at it like, oh yeah, like they've kind of like got some guys. I think people thought the Braves were going to cash it in once they lost Acuna, and they were kind of battling for the division. I mean, they had to fight all the way until the end of the year to win the division, and that was the only way they're making the postseason. They weren't going to get a wild card, so they had to win the division. They ended up winning it, and those 4 moves they made. So theoretically, all of the outfielders that they have right now starting for them are all 4 guys they got at the trade deadline. Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler, Duval, and there's one more. I always forget the last one. Duval, Peterson, Soler. There's a big one. Oh, Rosario, the MVP. The NLCS MVP. So they got all 4 of those guys at the deadline. When they got Rosario, they got for basically nothing. He was hurt. Rehab, came back, and he went absolutely berserk in the NLCS. He's a big reason why they're there. They lost one of their aces, and man, just watching them do what they did is unbelievable.
Do you think that one call changes the World Series? Do you think that changed that one strike missed that you talked about earlier? Would that have changed the entire series?
The strike with the Red Sox?
Yes.
Man, look.
Because it seemed like it shifted the series after that.
Maybe, but they weren't winning.
Right.
They're still tied. They still had to go and score in the bottom ninth. I know you take a lot of momentum. They ended up scoring a ton of runs. Yeah, it's a tough call. That guy missed calls all day. Like, that was a big one that he should have made. I hate saying, "Oh, that one call would have." Now, if they're winning, and
definitely,
definitely, right? But you don't know. But they're playing in Fenway at the time. They're the last team that maybe, yeah. But I don't want to blame it on one call. It wasn't like he missed a guy, a safer out call or whatever. But man, I can't stress enough what the Braves have done. How awesome it's been.
It has been a hell of a run. My buddy lives in Atlanta. And he's got 3 boys, and they've been following this run and been going to the games, and they've been sending pictures to the Mass text group, and it's just been fun to watch. I mean, you can tell the city's on fire right now behind the Braves.
If you watch the games, you can hear the chant.
Yeah.
Allie, my wife is watching it with me. She goes, "Wow, that stadium is so loud right now." I'm like, "Yeah, that is." And then Rosario hit the 3-run homer, and he's going nuts, and the whole dugout's out, and she's like,
I love the
oh
Braves.
my God, that is so cool.
I mean,
I hope we get to that. I'm like, yeah, me too.
No doubt about it.
That is awesome. Like, I'm getting chills talking about it because, dude, you don't see that energy and that emotion through the course of the year as much because there's such a long season.
Sure.
Like, that's the stuff you see in college.
Right.
Right, where every game matters. And, dude, it is just fun to watch. And, man, the Astros are good. They have a really good lineup, but they lost their ace. Their ace is out for this series. Like, he's not pitching.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be, I mean, the Braves obviously, the Astros obviously have home field.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they have home field.
Houston does.
And so that's going to be a different thing, but, I mean, bro, they're hot, man.
Would you say that MLB baseball in the playoffs, that atmosphere is as close as you get to, college football when it's big time? Because it changes. It shifts so much from the regular season to the postseason. It is wild how different it is.
I went to Kershaw's Game 5 versus Houston, the one where they say Altuve pulled the shirt over, and that home run. That environment that night was LSU Alabama in football. It was. You could cut it when you walked in. I mean, you could feel it. It was so tense that every swing, every pitch.
Dude,
it was awesome. Just. You're in it, man. I mean, it was an amazing sports experience for me. That was the first time I'd ever seen a World Series game up close. I had seen it from my couch and known that this time of year is real special in Major League Baseball. But being in that environment, I couldn't imagine being a player.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I couldn't imagine being a player.
So talking to guys, I've never played in the World Series. I've never played in the postseason in Major League Baseball. But talking to guys that have been there, it's like, dude, after the games, you are so exhausted, so mentally exhausted because, like you said, every pitch matters. Like, there's no, we're in the dugout and, we're just talking. There's no, let's go up to the clubhouse for an inning or two. Like, no. You are on the top step. You are looking in there, and you are locked in. Like, there's no looking in the stands for beef.
Yeah.
None of that, dude.
Row 3 seat
you are now maybe if they're walking up, maybe, but there is literally, you are strictly focused on this game, and it is. I mean, it's playoff baseball to me is the best playoff of any of the. Now maybe I'm not a hockey fan, but if you go to a playoff hockey game, that's pretty close, I think.
I've never been, but I have heard that it's intense. But our culture,
you like that?
Down
here, I love baseball talk.
Our culture down here, we really don't get that. So a baseball. That Major League Baseball game was as intense and great of an atmosphere as I've ever seen. I mean, it was, and you just had the high-end players. I mean, all the players that were in that game, and
then you always have a guy that's not supposed to do it. Like nobody thought Rosario was going to be the MVP, back to your beef comment. When you get to the postseason, you get like that Japanese Wagyu beef.
Oh, prime cut.
You get the prime, like the Japanese
Kobe
Wagyu, like
beef.
that rare, like, hey, it's
Yeah.
$125 per 5 ounces.
Yeah.
Beef.
And I can't even look at the menu. I'm trying to focus on the game.
Good morning. We got started a little early here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Lloyd is back. Matuk is here. We talked to Ben Mintz before we got going this morning, and he was in Oxford this weekend, kind of painted the scene as the backdrop. LSU just embarrassed over the weekend. Like we said last night in our Sunday night recap, I think Ed Orgeron said it best in his post-game press conference when he was asked, "What happened out there, Coach?" And he said, "I don't know." I mean, it just kind of gives you the mood and the mindset of the team right now. We'll obviously talk about that. Before we jump into it, remember our coffee is Majestic Coffee, delicioussips.com. If you want to pick up yours and get on the route today, True Blue Water is the water here over at the UDL, trubluewater.com. Every day, True Blue Water here on the Jordy Culotta Show. All of our guests, which Will Wade will be here at 8:30 this morning. LSU head basketball coach. That's compliments of Phil's Oyster Bar. But all of our phone guests are Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions over at Metropolitan Health Group. And the official spice of the Jordy Culotta Show is Papa Earl's. You can pick up Papa Earl's, 30% less sodium than the competition anywhere you shop locally. Rouse's, High Neighbors, Calandro's, Papa Earl's, official spice here of the Jordy Culotta Show. Before we get into all that junk that we saw Saturday, or didn't see Saturday, in Oxford, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
I know. I had the bold. I know Lloyd laughed at me. I'm like, hey, they're going to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I don't know how you bet against him right now.
I mean, look, everybody talked about the Ravens making it to the Super Bowl. They're the best team in the AFC. They were the bell of the ball. Is that the right word?
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Bell of the ball.
But they are
endorphins rolling early
that's
this morning.
I am locked in, boys. They were it, right? And the Bengals beat the absolute crap out of them, 41-17.
Yeah, 41-17, and it wasn't that close.
No,
it didn't feel that close. And before we get to Burrow, before we get to Chase, before we get to the offense and what Burrow has done to that culture and what he's done to that organization, first off, the Cincinnati Bengals defense is legit.
Yep,
like they are a legitimate team that you've got to fear on that side of the ball. They get after the passer. They're really good. I mean, the Saints additions for them have been the difference maker.
Yeah,
Trey Hendrickson up front, and even Von Bell last season. Yeah. I mean, you can tell that Bell has kind of set the attitude in the locker room. I mean, he's kind of the trendsetter on that defense. They've got players on every level. Even Eli Apple, who spent some time in New Orleans, is playing pretty good for them in Cincinnati. Their defense is really good. I mean, they took Lamar Jackson in that offense yesterday and really kind of throttled them for 4 quarters. But when you watch Burrow play and you watch Cincinnati play, it takes you back to a place here at LSU where now you have more data to look at in just how great he is, and what he did for LSU is what he's exactly doing for Cincinnati. I mean, not to say that LSU was in the place that Cincinnati was when he got here, but they were teetering on really kind of falling off of a cliff. Like, if you recall that time period, I don't want to bring you back, and, well, again, we're not piling on Ed Orgeron, but until Joe Burrow got here, there was a lot of
rudderless ship.
You were very weary.
Yeah,
maybe not a rudderless ship, or maybe not directionless. You had some positive points, but there was still the Matt Canada situation. There was the Mississippi State Troy game where you had gotten blown out. You really didn't know where you were going. I mean, you were talking about Justin McMillan and a young Miles Brennan in competition for quarterback. Lowell Narcisse was in that competition. I mean, if you look at that and look back on it, that wouldn't have gone well.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Like that wouldn't have gone good. And Burrow shows up and not only changes the culture, saves O's job for a couple of years, and brings all of the success to LSU, but creates that mindset back in the program that, you know, I mean, like, you can be dominant again. You can be a winning, consistent program. And to see the confidence that the Cincinnati Bengals have, not only just on watching them play, but I mean, like, follow their social media, look at their fan base. I mean, like, everybody is so bought in. There was orange and black all over Baltimore yesterday.
And that's what I want to say is, like, it's the Joe Burrow effect, right? Like, I don't want to give the way their defense is playing and the attitude their defense is playing with to Joe, but, like, I mean,
definitely means something.
I mean, look, him going in there and being the guy he is with the personality he has and the confidence that he just brings with the offense, and like them looking at him like, damn, this dude is a baller. This guy is the real deal. He has the offense rolling. Like that gives the defense looks at that and they're like, hey, we're gonna take that mentality and that persona, and we're gonna put it on defense and we're gonna play that way. You know what I mean? Like,
let's just say like it's like an expected to win.
He's a generational talent, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not even strictly like you can put other quarterbacks like if you put Mahomes and you put Allen and you put the guy in L.A. Herbert all next to him, they all have superior talent, right? But like Joe's obviously talented, but they like talent, like straight arm strength, speed, all this stuff. But when you put the other stuff, the intangibles, like the way he goes about and the way he commands the entire team, like that's you can't talk about that enough.
I mean, one thing that we're not talking about with Burrow is the way that he plays. It's almost like he's forgotten that he's hurt or that he's like coming back from a knee injury. The way that he runs around out there. I mean, just a simple couple of slide steps yesterday opened the field wide open for him. He made a couple of athletic moves on the Baltimore Ravens defensive ends that are within 3 feet of him, going full speed, where he just slide steps, takes one step up, and the field's wide open and doesn't get touched and makes just pinpoint accurate throws. He's so fun to watch. I said yesterday, I heard one analyst, I believe yesterday morning, compare him to Joe Montana, a young Joe Montana. It was Phil Simms on Inside the NFL on Showtime, compared him to a young Joe Montana. Rohan was sitting where you were last night and said he reminds him of Tom Brady. I mean, he's got these qualities where, some of these dominant athletes, some of these just revolutionary, generational type athletes, he's gotten spades. And to see the way that Jamar Chase is cutting up NFL defensive backfields is something that we will look back on. And it was like Rose said last night. I mean, they've gotten to a point now where defensive coordinators are like, throughout the week, you're scheming against Jamar Chase. And Rowe fired back and said, I don't know if they're doing that yet. I really don't. I think that they're just saying, we're taking our number one guy, our Marlon Humphrey, and throwing him on one and saying, hey, if we're paying you all this money and you're the guy, shut the rookie down or at least limit him. Yesterday he goes 8-2-0-1, one score, rolls out of a slant route and goes 82.
Running away.
Did you see the linebacker? He stopped running.
The cornerback
stopped running.
The cornerback trying to catch him like, no shot.
I mean, little Jay asked me yesterday, he said, Dad, who's the best wide receiver in the league? I said, I'm sitting there thinking like DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know if you can't say Jamar Chase. I mean, what he is. I know that's only 7 games in. I'm just talking about in the present, right now, today, when we wake up on this Monday. What is it? October 25th.
You're asking the wrong guy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, this is a bad room, bro. I mean,
here's my thing though. If the I'm not gonna say if now. When the Bengals make the postseason, I think they're gonna make the postseason.
I do too.
Right. So when the Bengals make the postseason, and they win a couple games, they don't have to go to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, the MVP.
He's in the discussion.
I see. And I'm biased. Everybody wants to talk about Lamar. Joe beat him. If Joe beats him, if Joe wins the division, and they go to the Super Bowl, they go to the postseason, they win a game, they make a little run. I mean, dude,
I think the realest competition for him is Josh Allen and Kyler Murray.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott could be in there as well.
I need Dak to win MVP because of Joe Burrow.
Kyler Murray seems like 7 games in that he's the favorite. You know what I mean? Dak is right there with him. And I think Burrow is now he's on the come up. Like people are like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? He's an MVP candidate.
Multi-homers.
Probably.
Touchdown game. Yeah, probably would hit multi-homers. Multi-touchdown, passing touchdowns in every game.
Every game this season.
Are we going to look back at this whole experience, Coach Joe Brady, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and just go, maybe this whole thing was just Joe Burrow? Like Joe Brady, you see what they're doing in Carolina, how you go 25-3, they pull Sam Darnold. It doesn't look exactly like it looks in Cincinnati now with your.
Well, I saw they're trying to get into the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes.
Well, I don't know how you can do that.
I don't know what that was. I mean, I don't even know what's going on with that. I mean,
I just don't know what the legal ramifications are. If you sign him, can you play him?
He'll be on that Roger Goodell
list. Well, you can play him.
Is the league?
You can, I think. League hasn't done anything with him.
it's just
the
sticky
Texans are the only ones that are not
it's a
playing.
weird situation.
Sticky
I just don't understand. But yeah, back to Joe. Like, I think he was the majority of it. I think it was just a perfect storm. I think that Joe Brady's scheme is great. I think having Insminger there help him with the in-game calling of the plays because he's never done it helped, and then having an absolute bona fide star as your quarterback with that chip on his shoulder. I think that just was icing on the cake. Obviously, Joe just took it to the next level.
It's the perfect storm of a college football. It is the most perfect of storm of college football teams that has ever been assembled. Everybody will debate whether it's Miami 2001, Alabama 2020, LSU 2019 as the best team of all time, and we can debate that all day. What you can't debate is just the perfect storm of characters at the right time in their football life, just together for 1 year.
Yeah.
Joe Brady trying to take that step to his next, wherever his professional life may be next in the NFL, has NFL aspirations. Burrow on getting to the next level. Orgeron and kind of finding peace as a head coach. All of the things that went into that 2019 season. You've got the Bolitnikov, you've got the Thorpe, you've got the Heisman, you've got the Broyles, you've got the Joe Moore, you've got all of Maxwell. You've got all of these award winners on one team at one time that you'll just look back on and just say, my God, what a magical, incredible season.
And what people don't talk
about,
people who don't, we're talking about Joe, and obviously he was, but our defense was really you know how good Christian Fulton has been this year in the NFL?
Yes.
Nobody remembers. People remember him, but nobody talks about him. That guy was a first-round pick that didn't go into the first round, and he is
playing like a first-round pick,
shutting guys down.
Yeah, he is. Remember, Daily here. We're brought to you by Falaya Real Estate on the Jordy Culotta Show. Get in touch with Barrett Blondo over at Falaya. It was great to see him last week over at his new spot at the Tech Park over there on Florida Boulevard, as those guys are really changing the way that real estate is talked about here in the capital city, but they're changing the way it is bought and it's sold. Sell your house, buy yourself, and save thousands. It's do-it-yourself for selling your house over at Falaya. You get exposure on MLS, Zillow, Realtor, and all the major sites. You don't get that on For Sale by Owner. Push-button offers, document automation with e-sign over there. Everything has changed. It's time that technology has made it easier to buy and sell houses. If you want virtual tours, push-button offers, get in touch with Falaya Real Estate. They are redefining the way that real estate is sold. For more information, visit Falaya.com or download the Falaya app today inside your Google and Android stores. Falaya, a proud supporter here of the Jordy Culotta Show. As we said, we'll talk to Will Wade here coming up in about an hour. He'll be here at 8:30 this morning. They are going through an early workout as they are on the practice floor from about 7 o'clock to 8:15. We'll ask him about guys like Tari Eason, who had a really big game and played 36 minutes. He was 7 of 14 from the field, grabbed a very impressive 15 rebounds, which I think is going to be something that Will Wade will talk about a lot this morning. Mawani Wilkinson and Alex Fudge saw some action off the bench in which they stood out, but LSU got a 74-62 win on Saturday versus Nichols.
Did you see Mawani's stat line?
I did see it, but I don't remember.
He is any category that you had: points, rebounds, blocks, steals, assists. His stat line is man, this guy does a little bit of everything. That's what you want.
Probably the best athlete on the team.
Yeah,
a guy that really can jump, catch, shoot, run.
I don't know if he had double-digit. He may have had double-digit points, but he had.
Here you go. 6 rebounds, 12 points, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block.
Kind of everywhere.
You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Plus minus while he's on the floor is plus 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's doing something.
Yeah.
He's not going to score.
The game
he's
in a lot
not
of
going to
ways.
score 25 points. He's going to shut you down.
And you know what he's probably doing? He's probably guarding the other team's best player.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He's a matchup nightmare just because of his athleticism. Not as springy.
I know what you're going to say.
As who are we talking about?
The guy that
Marlon Taylor?
Yeah, Marlon Taylor. Not as springy as Marlon Taylor, but
athleticism
more probably stronger and more of an athlete, moves better.
Can do a little bit more,
though. Marlon Taylor was a DB to me. You know what I mean?
And Marlon Taylor's going to jump over you and throw it down, but
he looked like an Olympic athlete.
He did. He did.
I loved watching him because like, man, why don't tell him dunk from the 3-point line?
He could.
I don't know.
He could.
He needs to go play slam ball.
I mean, like Marucci said, like when he was on campus, like he was like football team, basketball team, baseball team, everybody. He was probably the best athlete on campus.
I believe it.
Just freak.
I mean, when he would shoot
type
3-pointers,
stuff.
he would his legs would be 4 feet in the air. His jump shot was
that
4
dude was
feet
a
high.
freak.
So we'll talk to Will Wade here coming up at 8:30 this morning. Saints play tonight. Saints play the Seahawks. Looks like they're going to be without Taysom Hill. That could be a story to watch because the weather is going to be terrible in the Pacific Northwest. If you saw it last night in San Francisco, Indianapolis and San Francisco played on Sunday night, and it was just a downpour, man. I mean,
What do they call that? There was like a Lloyd. What's
like
you know
a
this?
deluge?
No, but it was called something a specific type of like storm. I think California. I don't know what it's called. I'm putting everybody on the spot. But they said, I'm like, man, I've never heard that before because they don't ever get in the rain.
El Nino, it's very
No, it's not
scientific.
El
When the
Nino.
30-18. I
I
couldn't believe the Colts got 30 points out of it. I mean, like that was
It rained
miserable.
so hard for about 5 minutes, and then you saw Carson Wentz go full Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
You
he
get
did.
the full
He did.
football experience, but when he tried to throw a two-handed chest pass and he throws it straight to the 49ers, he just is an absolute riot to watch play football because you have no idea what's
got
going
the
to
turn?
happen.
It's called a bomb cyclone.
Wow.
Yeah, I told you it was cool, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Atmospheric river blast west coast is what I don't know what a bomb cyclone is, but that sounds like not cool.
Dude, it looked like a bomb cyclone. I mean, like that looked like some of the most miserable weather to be outside in. It was just dumping
Yeah,
on that game last night.
And you can't even tell through the TV how hard it's raining because they would go
Yeah.
like close-up shots. And
Yeah.
you're just like, they're soaking wet.
Yeah,
Like
right.
the jersey was like
You couldn't tell
palpably wet.
until like people are dropping balls, fumbling. How is that punt return out of safety?
How was it not?
How is that not? I don't.
Bro,
I understand
what's
the
the
rule.
thought
but
going through
come
that
on.
guy's head?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I'm
But
running back.
But he knew, because when he caught the ball in the end zone, he was like, "No, it's a touchback." The minute he got the ball, corralled
Yeah, he
in the end
did.
zone,
I guess because he
He
started
made a little
doing this.
move.
He
did,
knew
yeah,
it.
he's
I'm
You
like,
like,
got
what-
panic for a second.
I'm like, how did? I mean,
Between
know.
that,
good on him knowing the rules.
yeah.
between the punt return and the Taylor Heineke
Yeah.
touchdown, no touchdown, I don't know the rules to football anymore.
I don't know if they know the rules.
I don't think they do either.
I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, and these
You can
roughing
tell.
the passer penalties.
You can
that's a
tell
joke.
they're kind of like.
Throw which beanbag that just throw out. Fumble.
Ah.
Look at it. They're on stage review
I don't
everything
know.
now.
I don't know. Tell me in New York.
Yeah, but Mike Pereira, can we get you on the horn?
But yeah, so it was. So Saints play tonight, so it'll be interesting to see what the deal is. If Taysom Hill doesn't look like Mike Thomas is going to go. He was out of practice on Thursday. Taysom Hill was out of practice. They did get a couple of guys back to practice. I don't know what their status will be tonight. Quan Alexander, Teron Armstead, Will Lutz.
back.
Is he practiced?
I hope he's back.
That would be big. I mean, especially in the rain.
Yeah.
In Seattle now, no Russell Wilson, Geno Smith going for the Seahawks. So it'll be interesting to see how tonight plays out. But the Saints and the
I don't know if they have that running back
Seahawks.
there either. I don't know if Chris Carson's
Chris
back.
Carson's out.
Is he
Yeah.
out? That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. But the return that I'm most grateful for is Eli and Peyton tonight.
Oh, me too.
Yes, comes
Why is
back.
it? Why did they take so long to put it back on there?
Because they were probably crushing Monday Night Football.
Well, don't you want that?
I don't know if
It's
you
the
want
same
that
network.
in-house with the amount of money that they spend on Monday Night Football. Like Monday Night Football is kind of like their
Well,
their
figure it out
mainstream.
then.
Yeah, no, I think that's what they're doing behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Is that they're thinking we're going to have to change the way that we present football to the viewer because look at the response.
Well, think of
look
those
at the
guys-
way that they grip it. Look at the way
Right.
that they are intrigued by it, and it's not the coat and tie,
Yeah.
suited
Shooting
up,
birds.
standing up with the microphone, even if it is really good commentary.
Right, like
and
these guys are
really
not
good.
bad.
Oh, they're really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they do a tremendous job in Louis Riddick, Brian Greasy, and Steve Levy is the three-man crew for the regular Monday Night Football. But the more loose, relaxed Manning, laughing, bringing in guests, breaking down football, giving you analysis. To me, it's kind of more 2021 way of watching football.
Right.
So I think that Monday Night Football is getting a good ESPN, ABC, and Disney is getting a good trial run case study to look at. Like we've got the traditional broadcast in place, which people are we're spending money on.
Right.
We're putting all the top production on, And then, you know, one channel over, we've got jeans and a button up and no shoes on with guys just kind of looking into a camera, telling you what they're seeing, laughing and bringing people in. And that one's dominating the coat and tie. So I think that they are adapting and they're going to have to change the ways because they see. And look, I think that this is, I don't know how they're going to handle this man. I don't know if you put this thing behind a paywall.
There's got to be a happy medium, though. Because, like, look, I watch ESPN2 broadcast of Monday Night Football all the time, but I think that, like, if the actual it needs to be like a combo of both, right? Like, not so coat and tie, this and that, and then not so relaxed, but have that same, capture that same personality.
Marry both of them, so it drives you back to the game. Because when you're watching the Manning cast, you kind of forget you're watching a football game. It feels like you're watching a TV show.
Well, you're getting entertained,
right? And then you're kind of like, oh, and they're playing football. It's like a great dinner. It's like a great living room conversation where you're like, you know, you're hanging out with your boys watching the game, and you're not locked in. But if one of your friends was a savant quarterback, he can tell you, oh, it's too high here. They're going to run the ball 3 times in a row and go hurry up. You're like, how did you know? Who are you?
Yeah, right.
But you'll see. Like, you talked about the coat and tie and the unbuttoned thing, and you'll see the effect of this when Barstool Sports does their bowl game. They bought a bowl game, sponsored
Arizona Bowl.
Yes, and they're going to do it strictly on BarstoolSports.com, and you will see the changing of the tide, and that thing, I would imagine it's going to boom. You'll see bumps along the way because they don't know what they're doing. We say the analogy of, like, building the plane in the sky. They're certainly doing that, but they're going to have so much fun around it and so many things going on. You'll see people be like, oh, you can do it 2 different ways. And I think the Manicast has put a lot of confidence in the Barstool Sports model.
Well, I think people are figuring out that you can do it 2 different ways. I think what's happening right now is the shift is now going way towards the more lenient, like getting so far away from the buttoned up coat and tie look where, you know, it's almost going to be like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost going to be feet up, computer in your lap, watching the game, sitting here. Doc Dewey brings up a really good point. Baseball would thrive in this atmosphere.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like, if you put Galsman, you, Jared Mitchell on a couch, put the game on, and you guys just talked about it and rapped about it and just kind of laughed and brought in your friends while you were talking. I mean, that thing would probably soar.
We have, like, baseball players have so many stories, and it's so fun and funny because, like, you're on the field so long,
right?
Looking for me.
So like, yeah, you just have all these stories, and like you can like add those and incorporate those into the broadcast, and like they're bringing some younger guys in, but like baseball is so far behind in that sense of like the commentators. Like some of them are great. Like you need someone to like corral everyone, but you also need the other guys to like, hey, you know what? Y'all just go out and just tell stories and talk about the game.
I mean, TNT did it first. All right, everybody's changing the inside the NBA, and now they're just trying to do it during the game, like because that's the gold standard of what you want, like broadcast sports television to look like. You mentioned like Ernie Johnson's the perfect wrangler for Shaq, Kenny, and Charles, and so that's the perfect model.
And
everybody they figured it out.
They're not perfect. Like they don't articulate everything perfectly. Sometimes they fumble over their words. Like everyone does in the world, but they're funny. Like. They allow them to be themselves and show their personalities, and that's what makes... Like, I love watching Inside the NBA. I love it because of that.
Inside the NFL on Showtime brings you that from the highlights. I don't like to sit down with all of the talent because it's still kind of very buttoned up and it's very corporate, but the highlights bring you a sense of behind the scenes and brings you an unbuttoned look where, you know, I mean, like last week they had Jamar Chase highlighted and mic'd up during his game in Detroit and gave you just kind of some of the things that him and Burrow talk about during the game, that big block that sprung Joe Mixon. You get the celebration and some of the dialogue on the sidelines between he and coaches and he and and him and teammates. So, yes, I think that is the way that the news media, at least the sports media, is trending on, you know, like they're breaking down that wall. They're breaking down that corporate wall that makes you believe that, you know, I mean, it's a privilege to be there. I am anxious to see what they do with programming like the man, because I think you could put that behind a paywall and people would pay for it.
No doubt.
You know, like people would just, if you gave me a choice to pay $4.99 a month and get behind a paywall for football season and have access to stuff like that, I'd pay $5 a month. You know, rather than sit down, because I'm not going to watch the standard broadcast. I know that. I mean, I'm not going to sit there for 4 quarters and watch Monday Night Football if it doesn't have a pinch of entertainment like the Mannings have.
Exactly, especially now that you've gotten a taste of it. If it goes away like it did, we're all yearning for this, like, kind of to come back with the Mannings. So if they do it, then they're probably rolling it out the right way, where you're doing it for free now.
People are asking, like, man, they haven't been on it for the last few weeks. Like, no, we're gonna make you want it a little bit longer,
starve you, get you hungry.
Yeah.
Daily, we're brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix. Remember Cajun Ready Mix Concrete, CajunRMC.com. CajunRMC.com. If you're looking for Cajun Ready Mix Concrete is available for you online, where you can get in touch with that crew over there. They've got 9 plants around the greater Baton Rouge area. That means for you that your concrete is going to be on time to the exact specifications. High-quality products, grade A equipment, red carpet service, and clear safety standards. That's what you get over at Cajun Ready Mix, is they're ready to provide you. Cajun Ready Mix Concrete provides and services to meet all of your concrete needs. That's residential, commercial, industrial, and municipal. Online at CajunRMC.com. We have dodged the story long enough here. We have not talked about it.
We're getting asked about it.
Yeah, people are wondering.
I told you, dude.
People are wondering our thoughts on Saturday for LSU Ole Miss. And you know what? I think this is going to be the common theme over the next 5 weeks here down in Baton Rouge, is that it's a program that's unplugged.
Yeah.
It's a program that is not in it. It's a program that it's going to get worse before it gets any better. And like I said, Orgeron going to the podium after the game and being asked directly what happened today, and I mean, he kind of looks directly into the cameras and he shrugs his shoulders and says, "I don't know." And I mean,
how good that must feel for him.
That has to feel great, knowing that I'm getting paid.
Guys,
I don't have to sit here and bullshit you.
I don't know, dude. I haven't known for 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people, and I know Roe talked about how he thought that was a turning point in the game of like not getting the points. I had no issue with going for it.
The play call.
I had issue with the play call, 1, and 2. It's just like, you look at our offense. And I love that we got to play against Ole Miss, because we got to see what Kiffin was doing offensively. You go look at their offensive schemes and what they do. If you put our athletes against their athletes, our athletes are better, right? But what Kiffin does is he sends guys in motion. He puts guys in a position in a mismatched position.
Conflict.
Right? Yeah, like, hey, this guy is better than that guy,
and he's going to beat him one-on-one,
and he's going to outflank. Yeah, and he's going to beat him. We have guys at 3. We have 4 wide, and they're sitting in there ready, still looking at the sideline. No motion, no nothing. I'm like, let's move around. Let's do something else. And look, I'm not an offensive coordinator. These guys are way smarter than I am. But like, from looking at it, I've played football. I kind of understand majority of it. But like, if you're sitting there and you said, okay, we're in our formation for 15 seconds. We're going to look to the sidelines, and you're going to see what they're having. You don't think they're calling? The defense is calling out what we're running. There was a couple times where even the guys, Gary was talking. He was like, "Oh, linebackers calling out what they're doing," and they were just prepared. Like we didn't give them anything to put us. We did nothing to put us in an advantage.
It's almost unfair to me to even talk scheme and talk expectation with LSU, because I think on Saturday after the game, you got a clear look behind the curtain that
they're not doing anything.
They're not really doing anything. They're not up there working. They're not up there really getting them prepared. You know what I mean? For an assistant coach,
I don't want to blame
imagine,
the kids either. Because look, they're playing. They're playing hard. They're not like trying to lose.
I agree with that.
So
100%.
I want to put that caveat in there.
You can't blame the student athlete. You can't blame the kids. You can't blame the players, because, there was a responsibility on the coaching staff and the leaders and the directors of this thing to have you prepared to play. And point blank, LSU's just not prepared to play. They're not ready for anything that is thrown. They don't in-game adjust at all.
Nothing.
Ole Miss lined up and ran the same play. It was almost like LSU Florida last weekend, and it was, the shoe was on the other foot, where, Ole Miss was just lining up, running the same stuff at you, and you never got out of it. Whether you couldn't do it, you didn't want to do it, or you just weren't going to do it, it wasn't happening. They weren't going to change. And from the offensive standpoint, I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's zero creativity. There's no objective to get the ball to the best players. I mean, like every time Jack Best touches the ball, something special happens. And I mean, special in the sense of he either gets a first down, he makes a big play, something good happens to the offense when 80 touches the ball. I would even say the same thing for Malik Neighbors.
Yep.
I mean, since he's been healthy, when he touches it, it's usually either a touchdown, a first down, or a big play. Let's get the ball to 8. You know what I mean? Like if I'm an offensive coordinator, or if I'm even like a passing game coordinator, wide receivers coach, running backs coach, offensive line coach, quarterbacks coach, somebody on the offensive side of the ball, just say, hey, fellas, if we are coaching for our life here because we don't have $17 million buyouts as assistant coaches, you know what I mean? We don't have big buyouts and payouts. We got to have jobs next year.
This is your audition.
Yeah, I mean, we got kids, we got tuition, we got mortgages, we got car notes, we got all that stuff. We got to get jobs. I mean, Orgeron's, he's fine. He's for the foreseeable future, for generations, his family is fine. I mean, you start thinking about the Jake P, the DJ Mangus, the Brad Davis, those types of guys, those types of coaches on this. The only way that you audition for next year's job is by having your group prepared and ready to play. That's all you can really do. Yep. And when you look at LSU, they just don't look ready to play. And when you hear the head coach afterwards be asked what was going on out there, and he just point blank says, I don't know how you blame him in that sense. I mean, really, people, well, he's got to do. Man, come on. Think about if you're driving into work right now. Dead. You're driving into work right now, and you've got this, and you're the CEO of the company. Like, you're the big dog in the office. And all of your duties and job titles and future has been stripped away from you. Do you give a damn? I mean, as much as you've put into it and as much as you love the place, and I know that there is people are, well, he's got a responsibility. He doesn't have a response. You know what's changed? It feels like it's changed since that caller called into the radio show. That was really kind of behind the scenes, what I was told, kind of got the snowball rolling a little bit faster downhill. Because Orgeron made some comments after that, because there was some back and forth between the administration and Orgeron on, look, man, this is going way off the rails. This is going too far off the rails. And there was kind of some back and forth on, a little, you do this, I'll do that. You do this, I'll do that. I'll respond by doing this. And LSU just kind of looked around and saw the situation that's brewing up in Tennessee. Are people paying attention about what's going on in Knoxville? They owe Jeremy Pruitt $12 million on a buyout. Pruitt thinks he was fired without the right cause. He's fighting that buyout now, and now Tennessee administrators are going to find themselves in court, under oath, answering questions about a lot more stuff than Jeremy Pruitt.
Yep.
Which Jeremy Pruitt sounds like was doing some shady stuff. And if it came down to it, he might get in some trouble. But if you get into the court of law, and you've got to open up now to depositions and under oath testimony, then you really want people crawling up the LSU athletic office over the last 5 years? No, they don't. Just pay him $17 million. Shut him the hell up. Get him out of here. In fact, have him sign this piece of paper right here that says he ain't coming back. He's getting the $17 million. But if he starts running his mouth and starts wanting to play those games about if you say this, I'll tell that, then all this money's in jeopardy. Get him to sign that and fire his ass. And that's what's happened. And that's why he's been in public. Hey, what do you say? I don't know, but I'm not saying anything bad. You're not going to catch me saying anything bad about LSU.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think somebody asked him on Saturday, did you regret catching this game or coaching this game and staying on? Not one bit, never. When in the back of your mind, you got to be thinking in the third and fourth quarter, he's got to be sitting there thinking, this is so demasculating. I mean, you have neutered me.
Yep.
You've cut my balls off in front of the entire world, and I got to sit here and watch this stuff just roll down. Now, you going to pay me $20 million to do it? I'll do it.
The smile.
I'll do it. But, I mean, that has got to be in his head, in his office. When he gets home at night by himself, he's got to be thinking, man, that's embarrassing as hell. You know what I mean? Like, think about your trade. Think about you're a baseball player. If they sit you out there and said you can't swing, just go stand up there.
We want you to play defense, but we're going to pinch hit for you.
Exactly.
That's basically what it is.
Exactly.
Hey, you're good at defense, but we don't really trust you offensively. So we're going to let our pitcher hit. We're going to pinch hit for you. Or we're going to DH for you.
Oof. Take till you get 3.
Yeah, that's a tough. Hey, don't swing. Just take. We hopefully you can walk before you get out.
I mean, they've totally neutered everybody in that organization from a standpoint of this is, to me, what is to be expected. You know, I mean, like, nobody can be surprised. Like, I mean, when I was like you, Lloyd, when he got out there and they said, what's the problem? I don't know. I was kind of like, that had to be relieving. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that had to be refreshing to be like, I don't know. You know what? I got to figure it out. It's like the Magic Johnson thing. Remember when Magic Johnson quit on the Lakers and they were like, so what are you going to do about this? He's like, I'm not going to be here. You know what I mean? Like,
TV?
It ain't my problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. And you know, I mean, the shitty part for LSU is that you got Alabama, Arkansas, and Texas A&M left. And those 3 schools want to skull drag you. They want to do it for a lot more reasons than just recruiting. You know what I mean? Like, Ole Miss wanted to beat you so they could tell it to Arch and tell it to the people like, hey, man, you know, LSU is irrelevant. Texas A&M, Alabama, and Arkansas want to kick your teeth in so they can, you know, like, tell you they've done it for the next 365 days.
I think a lot of people who like fans. I mean, I get caught up in this too. We're so close to it. We want to think that okay, this is LSU. LSU means more. So like everybody's gonna work hard because it's LSU. But I think we forget the human element of. I guess we forget the human element, right? Like he got fired midseason. He's a lame duck coach. He has no chance of coaching here next year. I know, and he's getting paid to do it, so he's not earning. He doesn't have to earn that money. Like it's already determined.
And his grades are made.
So at the end of the day, and he has like it's like almost he has like senioritis. Like he's like, oh, I know I'm graduating.
Yeah.
I know I already got into school.
How could
I don't
you
want to
not?
go to school anymore. I don't want to go to class. I'm just going to show up.
They gave
and
you-
I'm not even faulting him for it. That's just the human nature. Everybody listening would do the exact same thing, and they can say no. They can say they wouldn't do it because they love LSU and they have pride for LSU. But if LSU says to you, hey, you are no longer good enough to be the head coach at LSU of the LSU football team, but we're going to pay you to hold on just to be a placeholder for right now, you're not going to have all of your energy in it, and that is just the human nature of life. That's what's going to happen to everyone. So that's like you said, it's to be expected. And I think people forget that at the end of the day, it's a human running this. It's not he's not a fan like we are. Like he's not going to take that and say, "Oh, I got to, there's so much pride for this." Like no, he does have pride, but I mean, like you said, they just cut his legs out from underneath him.
And they probably don't.
I'm not saying they're wrong. They're right to do it. I'm just saying that's
it's
why
a
it looks
hell
like
of a
it.
situation.
This is how this was.
It's
Did we not know this is what it was going to be?
a situation. I think that before you looked at the season, you're on the whiteboard and you say, this is the scale of what 2021 LSU football could be. They're good enough where they could win 9 or 10 games.
Yep.
Like that's the best case scenario. Like let's say they win 9 games and we still know that Orgeron is underneath an incompetent leader. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't have the wherewithal and the makeup to be a long-term leader, and Woodward figured that out last year during 2020. Like during when the locker room was lost,
Well, that's
the
when you need
football
the leader
was
more than
bad.
anything.
Absolutely. When you needed leadership, there was nobody to be found.
Got exposed.
So he knew, like, we're going to have to make a move here at some point. But best case scenario for 2021 is they win 9 or 10 games, get into some type of postseason where you can squeeze 17 more practices out of it, get the future right, and make sure you corner this 2022 recruiting class. Like, above all else, if you can win on the field and get the recruiting class in, that's the best case scenario. You figure out what you're going to do in the future. Worst case scenario would be that you have to make a move in season because you look at the staff, you're looking at the staff in June and July and you're saying, now, they need a new offensive line coach because that guy can't recruit. He's cheating and allegedly, and there's nobody on this staff with head coaching experience that if we do have to make an in-season move that we could pass it off to. So if we want to make an in-season move, I don't know if we can.
We got to keep the head coach.
I don't even know if we could do that because there's nobody I could look at and say, can you do it? And that's why I think Steve Ensminger was being brought back around. And I think Ensminger kind of got to look behind the curtain and said, oh, hell no.
This is
Hell no. I got too much money. My reputation's too good. And I'll just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good with this.
Yeah.
Do you think that they kept O on staff in this role because they were, I don't want to say afraid of what he would do if he was in the public and not, they wanted to keep him contained and under LSU's umbrella for as long as possible?
Orgeron, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I am speculating on this. He is operating under a gag order right now. Like, he has signed some piece of paper where he has said, I will not badmouth LSU. Because I think over the last month that he was on the job, that was a big concern. You know what I mean? Because he could see the thing was rolling downhill on him. And, I mean, you read Dellinger's article. You read Brody Miller's article. I mean, in the locker room after the UCLA game with Scott Woodward and administrators in sight, he is telling people and screaming aloud, fire me. If they want to fire me, fire me. They got to pay me all my money. Could you imagine your top employee standing 10 feet away from you after he just embarrassed the brand, telling you, like, if you got the balls, then fire me. I'm telling you right here.
That's something you say at home. Like, to your boys sitting on the couch, like, oh, bro, what do you think's going to happen after what you say? Is like,
exactly.
Look,
I
dude,
hope
if
they
want to fire me, they fire me. I get the money.
You know what? I don't give a bleep.
That's something you say to your friends at home where nobody else can hear, where your friends are going to. Well, honestly, I don't know. His friends may say something because apparently he doesn't have great friends because they keep taking videos of him, and those videos keep coming out. So probably should get better friends too. But yeah, like, that's not something you say with your employer right next to you.
It just like, and I talked to multiple people that were in that locker room and say it was worse than what Dellinger painted in the story. Like, it was that bad. But I mean, like, he's like hitting the wall. Like, he's making sure people hear him. Like, just in case you don't get my emotion, just in case you may be misreading this, I'm telling you, fire my ass and give me all my money. You know what I mean? Like, just holy shit. Like, look at the gall on this cat. You know what I mean? Like, I guess we have to cut the check. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, Jeremy Pruitt and the Tennessee program have now become a cautionary tale for ADs and disgruntled coaches all over America. Like, nobody wants to get into a situation, especially LSU, where you got so much stuff just clouding the athletic office. Forget the football program, Title IX, basketball, everything that's gone into what's going on at LSU. You want to get into a deposition under oath with Orgeron? Hell no.
You know what? No school wants that either.
Hell no. Yes.
No school. Not just LSU.
Well,
nobody wants
Tennessee thought they did. And then Pruitt said, you know what? I'll see you in court. And Tennessee said, oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
He knows a lot.
How do we back out of here?
Yep.
You know what I mean? How do we, and, you know, it might be too late to where they've got a sit-down, deposition, sworn testimony, under oath. You lie, you're going to jail. Tell me what happened during this time period. Oh, shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to start talking about this.
McDonald's money.
Exactly. You know, and that's why, you know, I mean, they may have some stuff on Orgeron. They probably do. They probably say, hey, look, man, we got this stack right here that if we really wanted to go to court, we could probably get you on, but we don't want to open ourselves up to testimony that could turn into a book. You know what I mean?
Well,
like a best-selling book.
I mean, you saw the backlash that the Washington football team got. They're in a legal battle because of their owner, all that stuff, and then they had everybody just kept catching strays. So like, and not saying that it was wrong, but like, that's what happens. Other stuff comes out whenever you have to go and you have to,
absolutely,
yeah,
right.
Unbury the bodies.
Well, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, right.
Is there everybody obviously is becoming very public with all the information that's out about Orgeron, and obviously why they're doing it this way with LSU and the battle between him, like behind the scenes. They have to be extremely nervous that there's a reporter out there doing a whole lot of digging that is looking around for something, because obviously where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, the USA Today wants LSU's ass.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I'm saying
USA
this
Today,
is a huge
USA
smoking
Today
gun.
is on a LSU crusade. You know what I mean? When they tried to shut them down and not allow them to see those documents and not allow to see the public
Records.
the public records that they were entitled to. change the game for LSU. You know what I mean? I think that more than Woodward has been trying to bring in the right. He's also been playing damage control to a lot of media people behind the scenes of, hey, let us repair the relationship.
Yeah, give you something so that you don't crush us.
Yeah.
A little bit here, a little bit there, so that we don't get hammered. And look, people can say all they want. At the end of the day, that's unless they have actual evidence and proof, it's all he said, she said.
Is Orgeron the smartest man in the world? The smartest man in the room? Did he just play LSU like a fiddle?
No.
Wherever he's acted bizarrely throughout the year, and this has been all in public. Like you said, he knew that stuff was going to leak, and he's like, look, I can't do this job. I don't want this job, but I do want that $20 million at the end of the rainbow. So if I just play this very publicly and almost act out to the point where they have to fire me, I mean, that there's an avenue there where he's like, bleep it, I don't want this job, but I do want that, so I'll just make this so embarrassing for LSU, and I'll just sit on it.
I mean, I don't think he intentionally did it.
I don't know.
I don't want to give him that much credit.
He's definitely fallen out of love with the job. You can see it. You know what I mean? Like if you go back and look at his opening press conference would be too easy of an example of just the love that he has for the job, the position, in hopes to getting that role to where he is now. Not even now. Because he doesn't have the job, but just over the last year, I mean, how it's just become so nonchalant. You know what I mean? Like even the people that have had meetings with Orgeron, and I've spoke specifically with people that have met with him one-on-one and in group settings about the way that he handles himself away from the office. They said they could see it over the last 10, 12 months where I mean it was just more of a okay. Gotcha.
Well, and now look what he's chasing. He just wants the money.
Here's the thing.
He's office space.
He got the job, and it was his dream job, right? Like, of course. He's from Louisiana, originally came to LSU. This was his dream job. He gets it after a coach had just gotten fired because of not performing and a lot of things that are actually happening now that happened before. He got the job, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to work real hard. I'm gonna keep climbing this mountain, and I'm gonna work my butt off so that we can get to the top of the mountain, right? So we're gonna win the national championship, and he did, right? He got there. When he first got there, you saw he had some bumps, but like they were progressing. He gets Joe Burrow. Even that first year with Joe, they won 10 games, like progressing. Yeah. Next year, they get to the mountaintop. They win the national championship, and you're like, okay, we did it. It's hard to stay there. That's what makes the greats the great. And so when he gets there, now he's like, oh, I got here. Now I can let me sit back and let me enjoy my spoils. Let me enjoy all the stuff that I got because I did it. I told y'all we were going to do it, and I did it. And so instead of continuing that drive and continuing that motivation to stay in that climb, he just literally jumps off of the cliff. He doesn't even have a gradual fall. He literally got complacent, and he's like, you know what? I'm satisfied with that. And that's what separates good, average coaches to great coaches. Like Saban if Saban did that, like Saban has won 7, 8 national championships. Like he's not there to win championships. Saban's there for more than that. Saban's there to say, hey, you know what? I am the best that's ever done it, and I'm going to show you. And I don't want to compare both, but he's the top, and this is what's happening now, right? And I think that's what the thing is. It's hard. It's hard to stay there, but that's a mentality thing.
O's not even chasing wins or championships.
No.
He's chasing a check. Once he got the taste of that success and what came with it, he didn't care about it. It didn't seem like he cared about winning as much. He's like, look at that $18 million over there. Look at the money that I've got that I've never thought I'd ever have. And I want more of that life than becoming a winning football coach. I want whatever is at the end of success, and that was the buyout.
Yeah. No, it does. It definitely looks as if, it's...
all he's talking about is the money. That's all he talks about.
And
he said on the interview with Woodward, his mom said, "You better get that money."
I mean, he made 3 comments about the money.
I can't believe that he's getting it.
You know what I mean? Just kind of like make sure you get all your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Fucked it up good. Get that money.
I don't know, man. And I thought Saturday in that post game press conference, the demeanor on the sideline,
apathy,
the views on the sideline. I mean, they caught a shot on the sideline of like Panamsky laughing with Garrett Nussmeier. I thought, like, look at this regime, look at this crew.
Clown
like
show.
This is a joke, man. I mean, look at what has happened to LSU football in such a quick time. And I mean, even like like Brad and Gary are like, it's just 2 years ago.
Yep.
I mean, this is a cautionary tale to the rest of college football of how fast this thing can happen and how fast it can come out from under you. And I wonder what the contingency is to the plan right now if the brand is so beaten up that you've got to make a move.
Because isn't this the worst feeling if you're a fan of LSU football?
Here's
apathy. Like, I didn't even watch the game Saturday.
Right.
Like, because you feel like you know what's going to happen. And it's not even, like, there's a difference between getting mad that LSU loses, which you want passion from your fan base, but then you reach the level of, like, I don't even give a shit to watch the game because they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, not the players, the coaching staff. And when you reach that level, you're just like, that's the hardest thing to come back from because it's just, I won't watch it at 2:30. I don't care.
Here's the deal. We don't have anybody we can put in that position. We don't have an interim guy.
And you can't make another move.
That's the problem.
I know.
And we constructed a coaching staff that we don't have that position. We don't have a guy that has that experience. So we have a bunch of young guys who haven't, like, that's what the staff is constructed about.
I know. They're handcuffed.
They're out of cards.
I mean, I think that once Insminger was like, they were like, I don't know what we're going to do.
And it's not even at its worst point yet. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and this feels real low.
And I feel bad for the kids, man. I really do. Because, like, those guys put in they came to LSU for a bunch of different reasons, but they came in to win. They wanted to play at one of the top. And, look, they're still – the university and LSU is still there, right? Like, they still have the ability to win. These freshmen are going to come in next year, new staff, new everything, new mindset, and they go out there and they're going to win, right? They are. I will say they're going to win next year. But I feel bad for these kids because they put all that work in, man, and they're 18. They need guidance still. They need help. They need direction. They're not getting that, right? They may be getting in their position coaches, and they look at the guy who's supposed to be the quote-unquote father figure when these guys come to school, and they're not getting what they signed up for. And I just feel bad for these guys. And people now when you lose, the nature of sports is you start blaming the people on the field, right? You want to blame the coaches, blame the players, and that's what I feel bad about because it's not their fault, right? People want to say, oh, we don't have playmakers, we don't have guys, we don't have the talent. No, we do. We have all of those. We just don't have the people that are putting them in the right positions to succeed and enhance that talent, really. I mean, you have, like you said, Jack Besh, you have Neighbors, you have all these guys who are playmakers, but we're not putting them in the positions enough so that they can show how talented they really are.
It'll be interesting on what they do here because I agree with all of you that it's going to get worse. It's Nick Saban looks at the potential of possibly beating LSU in 2 seasons by 100.
Yeah,
legitimately. Yeah. He could walk into Quincy Wiggins' front, living room and say, I mean, we have beat LSU by 100 collectively over since they've won that national championship. I know they're selling that national championship season to you, but since they've hoisted that trophy, we've beat them by 100.
Yep.
And I mean, like, that's some of the things that could potentially happen. I mean, Jimbo Fisher in Texas A&M, they're on Louisiana kids.
Yeah.
Sam Pittman in Arkansas, North Louisiana. LSU's trying to strangle North Louisiana. Sam Pittman in Arkansas now have a message to go up against Alabama, Texas A&M, the schools that are recruiting the state there. So LSU is flying in the wind, man.
Every single day, the job gets harder and harder for Woodward to hire the new guy and for the new coach. Like, it makes that. I mean, it's already the most important decision of his career.
Yeah.
But every single day, every single week, LSU goes in, loses, and doesn't perform. That it makes it puts that much more pressure on him to get it right.
Daily, we're brought to you by A-Bears Specialty Meats. Remember, online at abearsmeats.com. Stopping in today to see them over in Highway 73 if you're out there and need to pick up anything like the deboned stuffed chicken, some great selections of boudin, turducken, steaks, ground patties. Swing through over at A-Bears and pick up yours today. They're on Highway 73 in that Dutchtown Shopping Center. As we've been telling you, they are also coming to Baton Rouge. They'll be opening up a new location in Baton Rouge at Robert's Shopping Center, at Robert's Grocery Store over there on Highland Road, right next to Superior Grill. About 630 feet of overall space inside of Robert's Market where you can pick up the freshest selections of A-Bears Specialty Meats. They'll have freezers there of selections for you where you can pick it up over there at Robears, coming to you around November 1st. So here in a couple of weeks, that'll be open. abearsmarkets.com, abearsmarkets.com. Give us 1 minute to reset. We'll be back. We'll talk to Will Wade here in about 25 minutes. Looking forward to our conversation and chat with Coach Wade as we get the latest from the weekend, as LSU basketball was down in the Bayou. They were playing Nichols, with all of the proceeds of that game going to Hurricane Ida benefit. And we will talk to Coach Wade about what he learned from his squad over the weekend. Not a lot of frontline guys available, so he had a chance to see some of this depth that we've been hearing about throughout the offseason. We'll get Coach Wade's point of view coming up here at 8:30 this morning here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Go Chevrolet, 3 locations, of course, Baton Rouge, LaPlace, and out in Tennessee, and online at GEAUXchevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Hebert's Specialty Meats, home to the finest boudin in South Louisiana. 2 spots right here in Baton Rouge and out in Prairieville. Stop in and see them in the Dutchtown Shopping Center on Highway 73, or right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. Online, abearsmarkets.com, and they're all over social media. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. Hebert's combines perfect seasoning with that authentic Cajun flavor. Find out for yourself. Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway and in Prairieville on Highway 73. abearsmarkets.com. A refund.
Yeah, not talking about that one. We're all good here, right?
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, live on this Monday morning. No interest in hearing what Orgeron has to say at noon today.
I don't know.
Do they speak on the bye week? Is there a press conference today?
I don't know.
I would get him out of the microphone.
We were talking bachelor party in the
like
break.
Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I'm in the bag. Bonnie, take over.
You can't say goddamn on air. Who gives a shit? Nobody's listening anyway.
Line drive. caught.
He's not the best color man in the business for nothing, folks.
Buy yourself a new suit. Here's $20.
Do y'all love Major League in the bigs?
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, like
Love
every
it.
line's a
Yeah,
one-liner.
yeah, it's great.
Lou Brown.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable movie.
Lou Brown is one of the great all-time characters in movie history.
Best sports movie ever.
In the discussion,
It's there. It's not
the program,
What?
Whoa.
What?
the program,
What's
football
the-
show.
I've never seen
football.
it.
Oh my
Oh,
God, Mikey.
Mikey. Seat at the table.
Really? The program?
Mikey, Darnell Jefferson.
When was that?
Yeah. Was that
90s?
2000? Late
90s.
99,
The
late
program.
90s.
How have I not heard the program? Wow, I'm
They
embarrassed.
say it's real based that like it's kind of based on
Florida
Florida State
State.
and that Omar Epps, that Darnell Jefferson's work done.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
like kind of in the storyline. That's how that
Yeah,
goes.
I gotta look it up.
Latimer starting defense busts his head through the back of the car
Seat at
windshield
the
when he comes out
table.
on steroids. You've never seen this, Mikey?
Wow, I'm
Mikey.
embarrassed.
This
I'm
might be a
embarrassed.
watch
Wow,
tonight.
bro, you lost a
I'm
little, kind of
embarrassed.
lost a little cred in the last
embarrassed.
3 minutes, bro.
Dang.
If I ask you your best sports movie, what is it?
Oh man, I mean, there's a few.
I'll put it on the poll.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Make a poll, but
Bull Durham.
I like Bull Durham. I wouldn't say that's the best. No, there's different categories to me, like best sports movie or best baseball movie.
Sports.
Best. So I'm a huge Remember the Titans fan. Like
Okay.
I love Remember the Titans. I think that's like just a great movie. That's a quotable movie. I do like Major League. I think I'd put Major League in like one of my top threes.
Sure. Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, there's
Friday Night Lights.
Friday
Coach
Night Lights is a
Carter,
great
That's
one.
good.
Coach Carter's a great one. I mean,
Blue Chips.
Blue Chips.
Blue Chips is good.
Everybody's All
Hoosiers?
American.
You're a Hoosiers guy?
Yeah.
Never seen Hoosiers.
Oh,
Never?
See? There you
Never
go.
seen
There's
Hoosiers.
another
No,
one.
I know what it's.
I mean,
not
I've
for
seen
me.
it. I'm
Jimmy
not, you know,
Chitwood. You
you
don't
know,
like Jimmy
I
Chitwood?
don't freak
Not
out
my-
over it. I've
yeah.
seen it. I'm
Yeah,
down with it.
I'm with you. I'm sorry.
Everybody's All American. Have you seen it? It's about
no.
LSU football.
Is it?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a good one.
See, I think Rudy's awful.
I think Rudy's off as well.
I'm not a Rudy fan.
Oh wow.
I mean, I like
Peck with the
Rudy,
But strong
the
disagree.
fierce-
but I don't think that's
Disagreement.
top of the list.
But I think Friday Night's the TV show stinks.
Yeah,
Really?
Friday Night Lights is not good.
I think it was okay. I think it was entertaining.
Early
I don't think
days
it
were
was-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, then somebody
They were
commits
reaching.
a murder at
They
some
were
point.
reaching. At
rolls
some
up-
point, yeah, they were
As
reaching.
far
She was
as,
on the team.
as far as baseball movies go,
The Sandlot's a good one. Brandon Lejeune. Andrew Messina, sorry.
the best. I do love Sandlot. The
Yeah.
best like baseball movies. The best because you watch these baseball movies, you're like, why would you get a guy that looks like he's an idiot throwing a baseball or hitting a
Yeah,
baseball, right?
right.
But the best
Charlie-
baseball movie that has the best baseball like
Cast.
plays is Little Big League.
Okay.
Oh,
You know, 'cause
yes.
it was all the guys playing were
Yeah.
all
Big
baseball
leaguers.
players.
Yeah, they're all big
leaguers.
leaguers.
Now the acting, like, it wasn't the best movie, but like if you want to go and see and you want to see like actual like, oh, these guys look like they know what they're doing, it's because they're all baseball players.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're brought to you by RMB Contractors. Remember Rhett Bourgeois and his crew, rmb-builders.com, rmb-builders.com. Let them build you a house, custom-made house. If you're looking for that for handiwork, you can get that done over the weekend, or you can get that done. rmb-builders.com. Speaking of the weekend, boys, I'm still there.
Yeah, it's tough.
Lloyd
It's
is
a big one.
Lloyd is fuzzy for sure.
In
I feel
the
like I can
bag.
see your blurry
I
vision.
can feel my brain falling out of my ears because I took a little dive on the ATV track. Never driven a four-wheeler in my life, and the guy's bachelor party that we went on he was on the LSU wakeboarding team. So he's one
wow.
of those guys, like,
Okay.
adrenaline is not enough of a drug. Like,
Yeah, right.
he is chasing some high.
No
that is-
building high enough.
that's not out there. And so he booked this whole thing this is what he wanted to do. Like, he was like, all right, this is what I want to do at the bachelor party. We're all doing this. After that, go do whatever you want. And so we go out there. I've never driven a four-wheeler in my life. I've ridden on one.
Sure.
But we get out there, and the guys are like, look, there's one guide. You can also run a 50 caliber gun if you want to do that.
Sweet.
Oof.
So, like, no rules.
Wow.
And so we get out there, and the guide that, like, he lets you go as soon as you set. He's just signing you up.
Yeah.
And he was like, have y'all ever driven any of these? And this guy, like, the bachelor boy was like revving the engine, like doing donuts around him while he was trying to talk to us. I didn't even get a word. I was like, I've never done this thing before. I checked in, hop on, and there's one map for 10 people, all 10 of us. And so I don't know where we're going. I'm trying to follow these people. I didn't even know how to shift. I was in first gear the whole time. And I was like, oh, shit, there's a clutch. Yeah. And I popped that thing. I was like, all right, now we're going to have some fun, dude.
Just,
Yes.
two front tires are
And
out.
dude, they said that, like, he goes like, turn 2, it's called gnarly turn, like, watch yourself when you're going down there. It's like, okay. And so I followed these people close because I don't know where I'm going. I don't have the map. and dust is everywhere, dude. I forget about turn 2 immediately, and I go down the hill, catch it, dude, bust my ass off of it, hit the side, fall off the four-wheeler, hit my head, black out. Come to, and I'm sprinting.
Concussed.
Concussed, 100%. I'm sprinting down the hill after the four-wheeler because they said it's a $200 fine if you roll it. And I was like, I just rolled it, so I didn't want anybody to see me because I barely left the entrance. And so I get up to it, I roll it up, like I power clean the thing. It's like, holy shit, how did I do that? The guy behind me was like, are you okay? I was like, I have no clue. And I just hopped back on and started chasing other people.
I don't have $200 to spend on this.
No. And dude, so we're on the way back. It's like a 20-minute drive. They shove me in the trunk of the car, and I'm just sitting in the back with my buddy, and I'm like moon-faced. I look like Dwight Schrute in The Office after he gets in a wreck. Like, I'm just getting paler, and I'm like, he's trying to talk to me about baseball, and I'm like, huh? Yeah. And he's like, are you okay? I'm like, no.
No, not okay.
I'm spaced out.
Yo,
at least you remember it. At least you remember that.
You remember the whole thing?
No.
Yeah.
And this is,
okay.
but I remember looking at the clock, and it was like 20 minutes away. I was like, not going to make it. And then I looked again, it's like 8 minutes away. And I start feeling myself like I'm going to have to throw up. Like, there's no shaking this thing. I am pouring sweat.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy, I see 2 minutes, and there's one light. And I was like, if we make it through this green light, I'll be able to throw up in the yard. And it turns yellow, and he eases on the brakes. I go, go! He slams on the brakes, and I grab him, like, just happened to see a plastic bag down there and just went,
oh, no.
And he was like, whoa! And I was like, dude, I don't feel good at all. I thought that was the end of it. We go to Walmart and, like, started to, like, gather the troops, buy some stuff for everybody. And I'm just, like, looking around at Walmart. It hits me again. I'm like, oh, no.
Wow.
And I have to go to the bathroom in Walmart and throw up there. And I was like, this is the lowest of lows, I think. Like, I'm
you were
in the
concussed.
concussed,
like I wouldn't even say that was probably like a decent concussion.
like,
That's
yeah,
not a
that's
mild concussion there.
That's the only. It had him in high school. It's fine.
So after that, no worries. Just kind of shook it off and
Shook it
back
off,
in the game.
Went and took a shower.
A little early '90s football for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Little T-Bob, I mean not T-Bob, Billy Bob.
Billy Bob.
Yeah,
Billy
that's
Bob.
right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, got to inhale it, pop myself back up. We were good to go. Just had to hit the bricks for a second.
Oof.
What a weekend!
Wow.
What a weekend.
What a weekend.
So you flew back from Arizona last night?
Yesterday morning.
What part of Arizona were y'all in?
That's a good question.
Scottsdale?
Flew into Phoenix, went to Scottsdale.
Yeah, Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Bottle Blonde?
No, we didn't go out.
Oh, wow.
Did y'all play golf?
Yes. Yeah, played at True North. If you're ever there,
Yeah, it's a good course. Great
blow
course.
your mind.
Yeah,
We were
great course.
like playing, and every hole we were turning around like, can you believe where we are right now? Like it was where like golf was even just second. You're just like, I can't believe I'm standing out here. Like gorgeous. The whole city is awesome. I had no idea. Huge fan of Arizona.
Yeah, I love Scottsdale.
Yeah, Arizona is.
And
It's a beautiful place.
It's a little mini Vegas.
Little mini
kinda.
Vegas, little mini California.
At least I didn't go to Vegas. You wouldn't have made it back.
We were
I think.
same rules apply then.
Yeah.
And it's 2 time zones if you're wondering. I didn't know that. That's why I missed Monday.
There is very much a confusion on the time zone. We had Tyrann Mathieu on the radio one time, and we were operating as if he was on Mountain Time. He was on West Coast time. It's
very hard to figure out.
It is very
too,
confusing
because the LSU game started at 12:30, and I was like, no, CBS 2:30. Like that's how my brain works. And I was like, 12:30, and then there was an Ole Miss fan at the golf course, and this was Friday. We played a little par 3 course that was fire, and he goes, we're going to kick y'all's ass in about 2 hours. Like, brother, it's Friday. I don't know what planet you're on. Dude, hair longer than mine.
Give me 2 of those.
I was like, where are you? When do you go to the bathroom?
Awesome.
This dude's a lunatic. And I was like, well, and I go, you're not going to beat us. We're going to go to Ole Miss. We're going to beat you. Then we're going to take your coach. And everybody started laughing because I don't like this game at all.
Were you impressed with Lane on Saturday?
Yes,
Yeah.
very impressed. I think. I mean, like I said, we talked about it, but man, the way he just absolutely dominated us.
Yeah.
And,
He knew exactly
and he
what
knew,
he was
like,
gonna do.
like going for it on 4th downs and just like he knew. I mean, he knew like, hey, look, even if you don't hire me,
Right.
look what I can do.
It's be a long 10 years.
Yeah, look what I can do.
How was your weekend? What was up with it?
My weekend was good. It wasn't Lloyd's weekend. I didn't have a concussion. I didn't make it off ATVs, but it was good. I had a little wedding on Friday, solid wedding, and then Saturday it was we had to go to see my my wife's grandmother turned 96.
Wow.
Yeah, she was. She's a baller, dude.
Bro.
She's great. She's still kicking, driving, hanging out. Like she's awesome.
She drives.
Oh yeah, sometimes.
I love that.
Yeah.
You
But
take
yeah,
care of
so
yourself.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's great, and so we went to the house, watched the Ole Miss game at her house, had a little barbecue, and then after went to see some friends for a little bit, and that was it.
Well, she got the Grand Marquis, the Lincoln.
Isn't
that the old-
Not the Lincoln, but yeah, she's got like a I don't know exactly, but
The old
along
boats, those
lines,
boats,
yeah, along
man.
those lines.
Car's bigger
Those
than
are
an
so
SUV
fun
for
to
somehow.
drive coming
Yeah.
up, bro. Those
Yeah.
Lincolns, those Grand,
big
those
old
Grand
cars, too,
Marquis
like-
that you could get
Yeah.
into. I mean, it felt like you were driving the leather seats. You were
Yeah.
sliding around.
Oh yeah.
Oh God!
Um,
And those are the cars that you see in the parking lot that have just absolutely demolished another car.
Yeah.
They just like don't even care. Like
Yes.
keep it going. Like all right, that's a grandma.
Slamming it off every stoplight.
Look at her driving.
My sister threw a bash for my brother-in-law. They have a spot in Woodville, Mississippi.
Anything goes in Woodville.
I mean,
Mississippi.
and look, we were so far all away from
Reservation.
anything. So Kelly and I called a friend of mine. We were supposed to go with a couple, and they ended up having some plans pop up. But we were going to rent a driver, somebody to just drive us out there. So I mean, because you go about
right.
if you don't know Woodville, when you get to the four-way stop, when you get to the four-way, you take a left, and it's 12 miles down
Right.
from the four-way. So still, I mean, you're kind of like.
yeah.
I mean, so we hire this guy to drive us out there, and I mean, we get to the four. He's like, "Where y'all taking me?" You know what I mean? Like he's
are
like,
you killing me? Or are you taking me
"Hang on."
somewhere?
He's like, "I don't have any cell service. I need to tell my wife and kids where I'm at." You know what I mean? We're like,
What did
"Bro,
I
it's all
do?
it's all good." You know what I mean? But I can. He's like kind of like 10 and 2. You know what I mean? Like, where am I, man?
Who
And
can
we
I
just-
trust in this car?
And
Yeah.
then you get there and you're like, hey man, drop us off, and then
Yeah.
you just keep going. There's illusions right down the
Yeah,
street.
right.
You just show up there.
Right, I showed him. I said, "Look,
Yeah.
bro, that's the Wood in Woodville right there. is that Illusions?" Which, by the way, on Saturday night was packed. The
I
parking
bet.
lot was
I bet.
overflowing on Saturday
That's your
night.
North Star.
That's
yeah.
right.
If you get
Oh, yeah.
lost.
But my sister and my brother-in-law turned 40 over the weekend, and she threw a party for him that felt it was the coolest party I have ever been to, in the sense of you were so far away from, like, nothing was going to happen to you.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was no threat of it. And there was about 65 people in the middle of this country field behind their camp. Parish County Line, the band,
Oh.
came, pulled up
Wow.
over there like 2:30, set up. I mean, they had the game on the big screen that they had set
Wow,
up. They had
that's
leather
nice.
seats and like chairs all over the place. I mean, she did I told her she'd be a party planner. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I was
that's
like,
impressive.
you should do this for a living, and it's just how impressive the setup was. And ran into a bunch of old school people that I hadn't seen in a long time, and ended up, I mean, just.
Is there
had-
anything better than like a great party? Like
No,
not,
bro. A
Not
house
even like
party.
super like, man, this party was like super wild, but like just like everything about it was like, is there nothing better than that?
The food was great.
Yeah.
The booze were great. The party was phenomenal.
People were great.
The people were great. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just.
Can't complain about that.
It was one of those nights that comes together where it just kind of all adds up, man. I mean, nothing is better than a good house party.
Hey, you talk about it
God's the
forever.
best.
I mean,
Oh, yes.
a good house party
man,
where
remember when you
there's
turned
no
40?
threat to go anywhere. All the party
Yeah.
and all the people are
Yep.
there. Ain't nobody moving. Ain't nobody leaving.
Don't want it to end. You kind of feel like you
Yes.
can kind of feel it.
It's
and
like
you're
an
just
all-day
oh, no, it's
thing.
kicking
Yeah,
off. Come,
yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun, man. Our guy, shout out to Lionel, our driver. He
Lionel.
was like, I mean, you
Lionel.
people, bro, y'all are something. Y'all are something.
Now we're gonna remember all of this.
It was a rager for sure,
Man.
I
man.
heard you hit the dance floor.
I,
Are you
bro,
not
I
a
was all over
dancer?
the place. I am not. Are you kidding?
I don't know. You can play
When
wide
you-
receiver. I thought you had a little
if
move.
I
if I
mean-
am dancing, then you know it's a good party because
Yeah.
I'm not a dancer.
Mikey, that is very well said. I mean, I got more people like, whoa, bro, who
Yeah.
knew? Who
Yeah.
knew?
Kinda got
But,
some rhythm,
you know what
too,
I mean?
like,
Like,
I
God
don't
damn, look at them hips.
I don't know if I have it, but I feel like I
Yoga.
have it right now.
Yoga.
I might not have it, but I do. You know what I mean? I'm a 5-star recruit right now. But it was great, man.
So much fun.
All the sights,
Good parties.
hallucinogens. It was just a beautiful
It was like a
night. It was a
dream.
beautiful night. Will Wade and the LSU basketball team took care of business on Saturday in an exhibition game. They are now set to get the season going from a regular season standpoint. Lots to talk about with Coach Wade. Recruiting, they've been dominant. Julian Phillips, the 5-star power forward out of Florida that they got the commitment from a couple of weeks back, is a game changer for future classes. Obviously, the way that he was handling the transfer portal in the offseason, you saw that on Saturday with Tari Eason having a big day. Bad news last week with Adam Miller. We will talk to Coach on how that affects his team going forward, but we will talk to Coach Will Wade coming up here
Before we go
in
to
a couple
break,
of minutes. Yep.
Yeah, we did a poll last week, and we said, I wonder if this would change people's minds if we did it again. We did toss-up, Lane Kiffin and Barry Odom to LSU, or the field for the next LSU coaching staff. The poll results were 59% the field, 41% Lane Kiffin and Barry O. I wonder how that would change now that they've seen Lane Kiffin coach against LSU, and how that if it seems like you just kind of want one bird in hand right now.
I still think that Kiffin may have run into some trouble with last Saturday night in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And again, it's not his fault. It really isn't. And I hate to paint it like that, but I just think that for what LSU is trying to accomplish in this hire, a sideshow is just not one of them. And sometimes, even though Kiffin, in my opinion, has matured, and a lot of the stuff that followed him, that he brought on himself, is kind of gone. And, some of the residual effect was what you saw last weekend in Knoxville. That was nothing that he had done. But I just think that LSU is not signing up for that this go-round. And look, man, if I was making the hire, Lane Kiffin would be number one on my list. I just think that he makes you automatically relevant on offense, and you always have a quarterback in college football. That's such an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I love him. I'm on the Lane train. I just don't. My heart wants it. My head says it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
If he wins 10 games and goes to the college football playoff, does it become too big to pass up?
I don't think that's. I think that's the other stuff.
I don't know that the timeline of the job allows that even for evaluation. I think that this job needs to be filled within the month. I mean, you've got to have somebody in place before Thanksgiving for sure, if you're trying to have any say-so in the early signing period. I mean, there's people out there like Will Campbell, Walker Howard, Bo Bordelon.
Yeah, they're waiting.
Yeah, but they're committed, and you can't take those guys for granted.
Right.
Everybody's like, oh, no, Will Campbell's definitely coming. Walker Howard's definitely
coming.
Walker Howard's not coming if it's Lincoln Riley. He wants to know what is he going to fit my style? You know what I mean? Is it going to be somebody that is going that you can play? And I haven't talked to Walker Howard, and he didn't tell me that. I just got to imagine if the style is oil and water, Walker Howard's too good of a player where you say, hey, let me do a favor for LSU despite myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything kind of aligned with and aligns with Howard. You got to make sure that they make the hire that, you don't have to do it for Walker Howard, but you need to do it with Walker Howard in mind. You know, I mean, he's somebody you can win championships with.
I think you scare him away.
I didn't mean, but just a dual threat quarterback, somebody that you're going to put a lot of pressure on running. I don't know if Walker wants to do that. I think Walker, his ultimate goal is he wants to play on Sundays.
Yeah,
he's got that type of talent. How can he get there? If LSU presents a offensive game plan in a situation that makes sense for him, then this is where he wants to be.
Yep.
He wants to be at LSU, 100%. But if the personnel doesn't make sense where, it makes better sense for him to go to Georgia, then that may be where he goes. You can't blame him.
I think it's the opposite. I think, you can't get complacent with the guys in state that really want to be here. I think you got to go and push for those guys because that's how LSU's always built their talent. Guys that really want to play here, that have grown up wanting to go to LSU, you've got to put a lot of not pressure, but you've got to give them a lot of attention. Say, hey, look, we're not taking this for granted. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, Daily, we are brought to you by Relief Med. Remember, online at RELEAF med.com. That is RELEAF med.com. You've heard the stories. You've seen the news over the last several years that Louisiana has legalized medical marijuana, but you never have really heard anything after that. You certainly never saw any shops open up or were told about the process or how you qualify. Let me tell you, it's real, it's here, and it's easy, and it's 100% legal. In fact, LSU and Southern are the two entities that are actually growing the marijuana. Let's start with who qualifies. If you suffer from arthritis, chronic pain, depression, insomnia, PTSD, cancer, epilepsy, Lou Gehrig's disease, any of those,
concussions,
including much more, concussions. Lloyd needs to be in the system if he is not already. If not, that is a crime by itself.
That is Arizona.
The full list can be found on reliefmed.com. That is RELEAF med.com. You go to reliefmed.com, you click on the Relief Now and fill out a few forms, Pay your $199 annual fee, and you can get same-day telemedicine visit with a Louisiana licensed physician. That is online at reliefmed.com. This is a recommendation that you will get. You will not get a prescription. You will go to a pharmacy, not a clinic. Both LSU and Southern are in on this. This is the highest possible quality, 100% full spectrum. This is nothing similar will you see. This is Louisiana legalized medical marijuana that is available to you at RELEAFmed.com. Will Wade of the LSU basketball team coming up next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com.
Jordy, don't you leave this man waiting. It's the general.
That is right. General Wade, William Wade, is here with us here this morning on this Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show as the Tigers traveled over to Nichols to Thibodaux on Saturday and got a win 74-62. LSU used an 11-0 run in the second half to get the win over Nichols over at Stouffer Gymnasium down in Thibodaux. All of the proceeds of that went to the benefit of Hurricane Ida. This is the second year in a row LSU's played a charity event. Last year they were up in Ruston. We talked to Coach Will Wade now here. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. You got your first look of your team in competition on Saturday. What was your biggest takeaway?
You know, I mean, obviously we're still a work in progress, but I thought my biggest takeaway was I thought our guys played extremely, extremely hard. And Wani Wilkinson, you go back and watch the film, he played as hard as I've seen a player play here in a long time. So he was all over the place and played extremely hard. And I thought our we got a lot of stuff to work on, but our transition defense was something. I mean, you've been in practice. We've spent an inordinate amount of time trying to get our transition defense corrected, and our transition defense on Saturday was better than it was at any point last season. So I felt like we're making strides there. Now we're still going to have to get better. We're not where we need to be, but we still have to get quite a bit better. But we gave up 17 points in transition to Nichols last year. We gave up less than half of that Saturday. So I thought that was a good sign for us.
Coach, I know you spoke a little bit about Mwani. I know you said a little bit in this offseason how much better he's gotten. But I mean, looking at the box score, he did a little bit of, like you said, a little bit of everything. He scored points, rebounds, played unbelievable defense. What has been the biggest thing for him over the course of the offseason that's made him a difference maker for you?
Well, he's just a worker. I mean, he was in here at 6 this morning getting shots up before we had our 7 a.m. workout and walkthroughs and stuff. And so he's a worker. I wish one of his threes would have gone in. His three-point shot's gotten so much better. He's going to make a lot of threes for us this year. And so, he works hard. He knows where he's supposed to be. You trust him as a coach. You believe in him. You know exactly what he's exactly what he's going to do just about on every possession. So he's been really, really good for us, and he's a huge part to our team.
Tari Eason had 36 minutes and had 15 rebounds in that time. He also had 22 points. He was very impressive. What did you make of the Cincinnati transfer?
Yeah, he's phenomenal, and that's what we see every day in practice. He's a great player. He competes really, really hard, and he's also a very hard and diligent worker. And so, Tari's a really good player, and I think everybody got to see that. We were able to move him around between the 4 and the 5, and he was able to get some mismatches and drive mismatches. He hit 2 threes. He was 2 of 5 from 3, which was great to see. He's been working extremely hard on that. And then, he's just a ball getter. He can go get the ball. And, he got 15 rebounds. I think 12 of them were defensive rebounds. And so, somebody that is going to be a huge key to our team this year, and is going to play a major role for us.
Will Wade joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Tigers beat up on Nichols on Saturday, 74-62 to get the win. We mentioned Tari Eason, but we also got a couple of looks at some newcomers like Brandon Murray and Jarrell Colbert, Coach. We mentioned your depth and some guys that have come in and expected to play. What about these new faces jumped out on Saturday?
Colbert did some good things. He made a huge defensive play where he denied their reversal and tipped the ball, and we got out in transition and were able to score it when we went on our 11-0 run. That was a huge play. I thought Murray did some good things. They Claunch, before we scheduled this, their coach, he'd been to one of our practices, so he kind of knew how good Murray was. So Murray hit about 6 threes in practice today. Claunch was here. So Claunch put their best defender, kind of a 5th-year guy, on Brandon, and he made life a little bit tougher for him. But as a product, we didn't have Penson, we didn't have Days, we didn't have Efton, so they were able to get some favorable matchups on some guys. But I think Murray is going to be a really good player for us. He plays extremely hard. His heart rate monitor numbers were off the charts, just in terms of how much space and how much ground he covered on the court and how hard he played. So I thought he did a nice job. I thought Alex Fudge made some really, really athletic plays for us. He's kind of like Marlon. There's 2 or 3 plays a game. He's the only guy in the gym that can make the plays, and he got some big time rebounds and made some big time plays around the rim. So I was very pleased with him as well.
Hated the news of Adam Miller last week. I know that was kind of a freak deal that happened with you guys in practice. You lose 20 points a night when you lose Ace Wolf. How has the team responded around that, and what's been the message to him? I know he's such a great leader for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough. That's the first time, we've had something like that happen. And, he's going to go out to California this week and get the surgery. And so we're going to be there with him and help him through that. And then, we got to attack the rehab and make sure he's doing everything he can so we can get back as quickly as possible. But the good news is that it's repairable, and it can repair and be, just about the same as it was before. So, hopefully, and it's going to be a long process now. It's going to be a 6 to 9 months recovery. It's going to take some time, but I think he's going to come back stronger. He's got a great work ethic, and he'll attack the rehab and everything that he needs to do. And then, just with the other guys, I mean, we've got other good players. That's why you recruit well. You got to recruit well, so you're not so you can so you can survive and withstand some of these. Now we can't withstand another injury, but with what we got right now, we're still plenty good enough. We got good players. Nobody's gonna. I told our guys, nobody's gonna feel sorry for us. Nobody cares. So we got to go about our business and go do what we can do. And I thought that was huge about Saturday, that we got to get some experience for some of these younger guys and some of these guys who hadn't played as much. I think Eric Gaines did a nice job. Obviously, we've got to cut down on some of the turnovers. I think he's got to be a little bit more deliberate with his dribbling, but he really did a nice job and had great poise running our team. He didn't get jittery. He didn't get out of he didn't get too sped up, and so I was very pleased with him as well. But we got other good guys. Gaines is a good player. Fudge is a good player. Brandon Murray's a really good player. Wani's a good player. Penson and Tari and Days and Efton and Colbert can help. We got plenty of guys. Justice if we need him, can help us. So we got plenty of guys. Hopefully we can get Sharif back. So that's why you recruit well, and it's a great opportunity for these guys to step up and make things happen.
Does Justice Williams possibly get more minutes on something like this, and how have you seen him develop since getting him on campus?
Well, he's still banged up. So what we're going to do is, he should be back in the next 10 days to 2 weeks, hopefully, and then we got to see where he is. And our plan the whole way has been to redshirt him. But we've started to have some conversations and say, hey, look, here's where we are. Here's what could happen. And, we just need to see where he is in 10 days to 2 weeks. And then we'll be able to make a decision on what's best for our team, but also what's best for his future.
How have you liked the development of your defense? I know that's another big emphasis here in the offseason of developing that. And you've got some personnel that allow you to do some things defensively. Where are you on that side of the ball?
Well, we were improved. We still gave up too many middle drives. Our closeouts were poor. We didn't clean up enough stuff on the baseline. We let too many people in what we call the red zone, kind of like football. We weren't at the line of scrimmage on some ball screens, so we just weren't where we just weren't as crisp as I wanted us to be. But we were better. We were better than we were. Just getting the transition defense fixed is a huge piece. And then the defensive rebounding was better. We gave up 17 offensive rebounds to them last year. We gave up 7 this year. So that was markedly better. I mean, we blasted them 15 on the glass. We imposed our will with offensive rebounding in the second half. So I thought I thought those areas were improved, but still we've got to get much, much better as we get ready for SEC play. But it's like I told our guys early this morning, I mean, everybody, Arkansas beat a Division II team at home by 3 points yesterday. It was in a dogfight. Alabama beat Lafayette by 5, and Georgia lost to Charlotte by 11. Like, everybody's in the same spot. It's who can improve the most and who can come together the most and who can make the most of these opportunities in these next couple weeks. And so, everybody's trying to figure their team out. And all in all, I thought Saturday was a positive step, but we know we've got to get a lot better and a lot better, a lot faster if we're gonna be the team we want to be this season.
We mentioned Miller's Void leaves you 20 points a night that you're looking to replace. How about the leadership aspect of this team? I know he was a name that popped out early, but you've got some veterans as well. How do you like the unit, the group, and the leadership within?
Our leadership group's been good. Our leadership group's Penson, Days, and Mwani. Our guys really respect Mwani. They respect Days and Penson. They've been through it, and so we got enough. We got enough good guys left to make a great team out of this group, and we've got good guys to lead it. Days and Penson have been through the battles in the SEC, have been through a full SEC season, and Mwani's been there as well. So I like the guys that we got.
November 9th, LSU basketball opens up their regular season. That'll be versus the University of Louisiana Monroe, and then they're off and moving here this season. What's the schedule like in between this exhibition and getting it going?
Well, we got another scrimmage next weekend, so we're getting ready for that. It'll be quite a step up in competition. So no offense to Nichols. Nichols going to be a really good team. I think they're going to win the Southland. They got great players. They do a great job. But we got a big scrimmage this weekend. We're going over to Houston on Friday, and we're going to spend the weekend in Houston and get ready for a scrimmage on Sunday morning. And so we got a big scrimmage, and then we'll be into our game prep for Monroe after we get back from the scrimmage. We'll break that down for a couple of days, continue to work on ourselves, and then we'll get into our prep for Monroe and get ready to go in the season. We got 5 games, basically a game every 2 days, five straight home games to start the season. So we got to be ready to rip and run here soon.
Enormous recruit and recruiting news for you over the last couple of weeks. How does that work right now, and how is recruiting going? Obviously, very well after the last news that you got.
Yeah, recruiting's going well. You never know how things will shake out. May have one more surprise here for signing day. So you never know what'll happen. But,
we all know it's going to be good. Boot up. We love to see the score on Saturday. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Boot up.
Yes, sir. There he is. William Wade, the general, checking in here on this Monday morning. That is compliments of Phil's Oyster Bar. Every time the coach stops through, we shout out to Anthony Piazza and the crew over there in Southdown Shopping Center for bringing us that conversation with Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta show.
Well, he's a stud.
He's a beast.
God, he's a stud.
There's something
He's a
we
beast.
don't.
There's gonna be a little surprise.
What's the money you could have got on the day that Scott Woodward was hired that he would have made a women's basketball coach, a baseball coach, and a football hire, and Will Wade is still standing on the sideline for the LSU basketball program? What is the return on that bet?
I don't know, because it seems like he would have been the first one. He would have been the most nervous one at the table whenever they meet with, and whenever all the players get together.
This is right up his alley. Like Scott's like, hey, you're gonna be a baller.
As long as there's no more BS, which I believe there will not be. He knows he's got a winner.
Yep.
He knows he's got a guy that's dominating the transfer portal, which in today's college basketball world, you better have a line into that. And Wade's got just about as strong as one you can find. It continues to clean up on the recruiting trail. It is time to pay him. It is time to extend him. It is time to give him more years on the contract. I'm not even asking for more money. The $2.3 million salary that he makes annually is well deserved, and it also puts him into the conversation of what he needs to get, but he needs more years. That contract runs out, and he needs an extension at LSU because I'm telling you, people, I think there are some people around LSU that say he's damaged goods and nobody will hire him. You are out of your freaking mind. If you believe that college basketball programs that want to be relevant care about the stuff that's being thrown at Wade, and they're also looking at the success rate that he has in bringing players in and sustaining a program. We have talked about that a ton in this LSU football hire. I think one thing that Woodward is looking around at, which is why my opinion that Billy Napier really jumps off, and Jason Kallmeyer tweeted into the show at Culotta Show saying, hey guys, you got me sold on Billy Napier, at least for now. Can you talk more about his offensive scheme? His offensive scheme is very similar to what you saw over the weekend with Lane Kiffin. They run high tempo. They even run kind of more of a powered run attack that is kind of veiled in that spread offense and that throwing short intermediate routes to athletes and getting them in space. But what Napier has done more impressive than anything, in my opinion, when you look at the short list of guys whose names exist, and I still think I was asked a ton over the weekend, who's the guy? Anybody that tells you they know the guy is lying to you.
They have no idea.
Nobody knows. I don't know. The afternoon guy on the radio doesn't know. The morning guys on the radio doesn't know. Your neighbor doesn't know. Even the guy that probably works at LSU doesn't know. I think that there is.
Scott's wife doesn't know.
Yeah, she may not know. I think that there is.
Doesn't know.
I think he knows.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Okay.
Frank's coming back.
All right. What'd you just do in the bathroom? And it was, I think that there's a very small circle that knows about this right now. And who's the leader? Who's the person? Who's going to be the coach? But one thing that Woodward, in my opinion, is looking for directly and is very high on the list is maintaining and consistently running a program. And what Billy Napier has done, and it doesn't matter that he's done it at Lafayette. No. He can do it in the SEC. You can do it in the Sun Belt. You can do it in 5A high school football in Louisiana. If you have a sustained winning program, it shows you know what it takes to build that. We had Napier on for a short time last week, and we asked him about what it's like in the fundamental construction of a program. And as you heard, that guy is 365 days a year on top of his program. Nothing goes in, nothing comes out without him knowing the exact detail of what that is for the betterment of the overall operation. And I think that that is what Napier does best, and I think that that's what Scott Woodward really is one thing during this process that he's looking for, and that is what, to bring it full circle, that's what Will Wade has done in basketball.
No doubt.
I mean, since he's been here, they have been a tournament contender every single year. They have got players. They have put players into the league, which means they are developing them. I mean, has there been one player that has gotten better from the time he got into basketball at LSU than Skylar Mays? Did anybody ever improve more from day one to 5 years later to now being paid by the Atlanta Hawks to be a roster player? He's not going to the G League.
Right.
He's on the Atlanta. I mean, that development deserves. I mean, where was that? Where did that development happen? That development happened on LSU on Will Wade's watch. Well, Greg hired Trey. Will Wade hired Greg hired. You know, I mean, that's what it takes to get these guys there. So
sustained programs don't. It's
extend
not about
him.
The players.
Pay him.
It's not about necessarily the players. It's about the culture. Like building a culture and to sustain the program isn't about the players. It's about the guy running the organization, running the team, right? He goes and recruits the players. Yeah, that's how you win. But being able to have those guys come in there and have this culture and have this mindset, that starts from the top. It doesn't matter who's there. Like you said, it doesn't matter if you're a high school guy. Doesn't matter if you're a Division II coach. Doesn't matter if you're a UL coach or LSU coach. That culture travels.
It's another reason why I think Dave Aranda's name is gaining some steam. His data, his analysis, his overall time in Waco is crunched. It's a year and a half compared to 4 of what you have at Napier and Lafayette. But when you look at the track that Baylor's program is on, it's very similar to what's happening in Waco. Now, what Baylor took over, what Aranda took over in Baylor was much more of a was in a better place than what Napier received the UL job. Not that Hudspeth did a bad job, but towards the end it really kind of started to fall off. But Aranda has sustained that. He has kept them relevant. He has continued to recruit. His player development is a key piece to running that program, which is why I believe his name behind closed doors is starting to gain some steam because of his overall ability to build, maintain, and compete with a program every single day. I mean, these flashes in the pans, these 1 season you're up, 2 seasons you're down, a season up, a season and a half down. That's not
what you want.
That's not what you want, man. You got to have consistent year in, year out, which is what Lane Kiffin brings you. Yeah. I mean, look at what Lane Kiffin has done in a short time. He did it at FAU.
I don't think that's and we've discussed it. That's not the issue. Like we understand he's got all of that. Like you know what I mean? Like that's everybody like Lane that the way he runs it and the how he develops players, like that's never been our issue. And that's not I mean, that's why we like him. That's why we want him as a guy. But I think the issue is with the stuff that comes out. We've hit on that a lot. But you know, he can run a program, he can sustain it, he can develop. He checks all those boxes. The only one that it's not to his fault. It's just.
Do you want to extend Will Wade before this year starts? Or
yes.
Is that what he's?
Yeah.
What is he waiting on? Because now, would this be a good time to do it?
Because he can.
Because LSU football is looking, everybody's looking at that. Do you slot him a little, Sunday conversation, a Friday contract where you just kind of like, oh look, Will Wade's been,
like
some
positive news in the LSU world.
I don't know if they even want it out there so much because of all the money that's being thrown around at football. Do you just kind of like slot a little contract? It's like, oh, and Will Wade got an extension, by the way. It's like, all right, now let's look back at football.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. But look, I know he's running out of time to get that done.
Right.
I mean, that needs to be that needs to be a priority in the LSU athletic department. And I know that they have a lot of stuff going on, but at some point you've got to look at what the LSU basketball program has been doing in the face of adversity, all the while staying consistent and maintaining a winner during that time period. I mean, if you're Scott Woodward and you're looking around and saying, I've had to replace the women's coach, I've had to bring in a baseball coach, I'm now having to make a a football hire, and I look around and my basketball guy has been pretty consistent. You know what I mean? He's developed guys. He's really made the program a winner. He's recruited at a high level, and I'm kind of waiting on this other shoe to drop, and it just will never fall. I got to pay him. I got to extend him. I got to make sure he's taken care of.
The longer you wait, the more expensive he's going to be.
Yeah,
because
the more negotiating power he has.
I mean, this year let's say you wait to the end of the year, right? This year, I mean, this could be the deepest team he's ever had. Talent-wise, they're probably the best talented, most talented up and down that they've ever had. I mean, they make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. Now his value and his cost skyrockets, and you want that, and you're still probably going to extend him and pay him, but like you extend him now, you may be able to get $1 million less a year to give him that money. But he goes to the Final Four, the championship. You ain't getting him for that.
Nope.
With all those eyeballs on him, too.
GoFlow IV brings you the Jordy Culotta Show. Get in touch with GoFlow IV. They're on Jefferson Highway. I'll be over there this week getting my Baton Rouge, getting my IV hydration treatment with vitamin infusion. They are Baton Rouge's premier medical spa over there on Jefferson Highway. They offer memberships to you: chronic dehydration, athletic performance, illness recovery, hangover cure, chronic illness. All of those check the boxes of Lloyd Courtney. If they only checked one of yours, you can take care of that today over at GoFlow IV.
2 at a time.
GoFlow IV over at Jefferson Highway, right there across from A-Bears Meats, the old A-Bears Meats on Jefferson here in Baton Rouge.
Sticking about Temple.
But check it. They might be able to do that.
That probably wouldn't be good.
GoFlow IV, GEAUX, flowiv.com. When's the World Series start? When's game 1?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
Tuesday, game 1 from
tomorrow.
Houston.
That's tomorrow.
Who you got? You have a pick? People are asking.
Oh, man. For the whole World Series or for tomorrow?
For the whole World Series, who you like?
You know what? I'm going to go Atlanta.
Really?
It's time.
I think I'm going to go Atlanta. I just like, man, look, there's a couple reasons. I think Houston's the more talented team. I think Atlanta's the team of, like, destiny kind of.
Yeah.
And, dude, I'm going to just touch on their manager for a little bit, right? So, Brian Snitker, lifelong AAA, like, been in AAA manager forever. He got the job in Atlanta because they fired their other manager mid-season. Their team at the time was really young. So they brought him up from AAA to be the interim guy. He has a relationship with these guys. They end up, like, winning games that they shouldn't have won. They end up having a pretty good season. Hire him the next year on a 1-year deal. Crushes it. Now he's in the World Series as the manager and, like, just a very likable dude.
Is he on the World Series on a 1-year deal? Or
No. I think he's got the deal now, like
Okay.
the multi-year deal. But, like, he had to grind, his whole career, and, like, he had no connections. He had no nothing. He got to the big leagues because he was like the players loved playing for him, and he got rewarded for his hard work.
Those have to
Guy
be.
looks like a baller.
Those
He's
have
the
to be
best,
the. Those have to be the stories that keep
Yeah.
you around.
No doubt.
Right?
I mean,
Like-
my manager in AAA, when I first got to AAA in 2014, he's now the manager for the Toronto Blue Jays. They're going to be in the postseason next year. Like, he has a young team. We love playing for him in AAA. He got to the big leagues with Tampa as a third base coach, then as a bench coach, and now he got the head job. Like, he didn't play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
He didn't play there. He grinded it, and he worked hard, and players loved playing for him, and he's in the big leagues now as a really, really, really good manager.
Great Mikey Matuk's takes for baseball. Really looking forward to following the World Series with him. We should probably think about doing some live programming about what we talked about with Gosman and those guys. With KG being back in town and your access and what's coming up with Houston and Atlanta. Obviously, we'll have the latest on that for you. Stick around here on the Jordy Culotta Show channel, and please like and share and comment. We will have content coming to you throughout the week. We'll be here every morning, 7 a.m., JordyCulottaShow.com, Facebook, obviously on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube page, please hit that subscription button. Also, hit the bell so you get notified when the programs come at you, when the content goes up. Mikey Matuk, our co-host, Lloyd Courtney is back in our producer
You
seat.
gave me the title.
Absolutely,
the title.
bro.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2 weeks in, the 2-week commitment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
If you make it past the 2 weeks, you're in. Big week for the Jordy Culotta Show. Big week coming up.
Big week.
Huge week.
Yes, huge.
Look,
could
we're
be.
literally with a little cliffhanger, boys.
Could be.
And girls.
Could potentially be a huge week for us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Enjoy your Monday. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Go Chevrolet drives us every single day, so make sure you check them out online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Shout out to Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and the entire crew over at Go Chevrolet, as that brand is on fire right now with the new expanded dealership up in Tennessee. Go Chevrolet, Jordy Culotta Show. Find us, like us, comment. See you tomorrow.
Fading out.